everybody, and welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmie. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another crazy edition of Crime in Sports as we continue this wild tale of cult murder and betrayal, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
Betrayal, too.
Well, yeah, wait till you see how much betrayal is coming up here. Robert Rozier is about to get real tired of being the scapegoat.
Oh.
And about to start opening his fucking mouth here. That's, he's a dangerous man.
Taking all the goddamn blame around here.
He's a dangerous, he got excommunicated last week. That's not good.
Shit.
You're asking for it when you're excommunicating people. So we'll get to all that and more. First, though, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows. They're all there, including, these are all Small Town Murder live shows, including after the summer, our first one's back, the September 18th at the Pabst in Milwaukee, September 19th at the State Theater in Minneapolis. We are excited for those, so get in there. Also, Dallas, San Jose, Sacramento, Terrytown, New York, and Boston. Those are all going fast, so if you want tickets, get them now and come see us and come hang out. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Hurry your asses up. Get yourself Patreon. Run to your phone to do that. Get yourself Patreon is what you need. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all the bonus material. Anybody over or $5 a month or over, you get everything we put out, and that's everything. As soon as you subscribe, you are going to get hundreds of back bonus episodes you've never heard before immediately upon subscription. Then you're going to get new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get them all, everybody. So get excited this week, what you're going to get for that. For Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about hostage situations. We did the bonus on Stockholm Syndrome, and I was like, this is fascinating what's going on in here. The dynamic of everything. So I was just fascinated by it. So we're going to talk about that. Then for Small Town Murder, I'm so jacked about this. Corey Richins Part 3. Yeah. They did her sentencing, and you go, well, who cares? Just tell us what she got sentenced to. The sentencing doesn't even matter. They have all of her kids' statements that contradict everything she said. And they talk about what a terrible mother it's awesome. Yeah. It's just burying her. And then she makes this awful speech in court for an hour. That's a joke. It's wild stuff. We're getting all that stuff and more. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of that. And on top of that, you're going to get this show, Small Town Murder, Your Stupid Opinions, everything, all ad-free as well. On top of that, and on top of all of that, you get a shout out at the end of the show as well, where Jimmie will go ahead and mispronounce your name. So there we go, everybody. You got to do it. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. That said, it is lunatic cult murder asshole time. All right, let's do it here. We start with December 22nd, 1989. Okay. This is right after there's been some threats to people who left the Yahwehs. Yeah. That's the thing. Once you get into a few years into a cult, there's a few people that start to break away. Sure. And you got to keep them under control. And so they have to say that they're awful, disgruntled people, and then they make threats against them. And it's all a mess.
We aren't even friends anymore.
No. And then they're kind of, shit's coming home to roost at this point because they have that. And then also on December 22nd, 1989, Yahweh sect agrees to pay evicted apartment tenants. So all those people they kicked out and murdered and broke all their shit and all that kind of thing, they now have to pay $646,000 to those people.
For throwing them out without just cause.
Without just cause.
And for breaking all their shit.
And for being violent and everything else. They were ordered to pay $1.4 million, including court costs, to the 27 residents, but attorneys for both sides agreed to the lower amount to avoid an appeal.
That's nice.
Basically, it's like, yeah, that's great. Now we can appeal for the next 5 years, or we can just get a number that we're all going to agree on here. The total judgment includes about $220,000 to pay court and legal fees, 84 monthly payments of $8,217.59 plus interest will be divided among the plaintiffs. So that's how they're doing it. That's for the Opalaka thing. Why Robert Rozier is in prison right now.
Yeah. Does it get compounded and does it gain more interest as
it doesn't
if
say,
they don't pay?
It says plus interest, so I don't know if that's plus interest from the time
up to now,
or if they don't delay. I'm sure there'd be more interest payments on that. I'm sure that's in the fine print of everything. But yeah, they showed up at an apartment complex with 6-foot wooden staffs, kicking in doors, throwing people out. Now, you have this, it's hard to ignore this type of thing here. We often do the sales, things from around a newspaper article. Yeah. Sometimes it's just there's other crazy shit happening that's even crazier than we're covering. And on the same page is in other unrelated Florida news, let's call it. Woman 18 arrested in incest case.
Gross.
Yeah, this is amazing. Jimmie Hendry and Trina Heiser lived together as husband and wife. That seems reasonable, right? Yeah, why not? But the problem is prosecutors say they're really father and daughter.
Oh, no.
God damn it, Florida. Come on, man.
No.
Jesus
She's
Christ.
18. That's a woman.
They've now arrested the 18-year-old woman. 5 deputies removed Heiser from her home Wednesday. God, if what you're doing... If who you're fucking is so gross that 5 deputies have to forcefully remove you from your home, you have got to seek something.
It's just your normal life.
And it's an adult you're fucking. You've really stepped over a line here. So they removed her from her home and charged her with felony incest, the same charge leveled against her 41-year-old spouse dad father.
Jesus.
This month. Good God. She says, Jimmie Hendry, the dad, said, "We knew the arrest was going to happen, but we didn't like the way they did it. They took her out of here in handcuffs with the TV cameras waiting on her out in the front yard. They had no reason to do that." Yes, they did. This is fascinating. What do you expect? You're married to your daughter, bro.
And it took her out of here and arrested her. It's like she's the aggressor.
Yeah, well, no, he was already arrested.
Oh, okay.
They arrested him first. And the couple claim they didn't know they were related.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. And again, if you have such little contact with one of your children that you could accidentally marry them someday, you're a terrible person. You're an awful, awful person. They say that the Heiser, Trina, the daughter's brother, introduced his sister to Jimmie Hendry in April and still didn't know when they married almost 4 months ago that they were father and daughter. They came to light when Trina's brother, Steve Heiser, was on a charge of bank robbery in jail and told authorities that his sister and father had married. He said, "I'll give you anything I know that other people are doing that's illegal. My father's banging my sister. How's that?"
And I gave her, he liked it so much, he put a ring on it.
Oh, no, it's official. There's a paperwork involved here.
You can't even arrest them for it. It's legal.
Wow. The couple said they will annul their marriage until, they said they would annul their marriage until they find out if they are indeed father and daughter, but prosecutors plan to pursue the case. The assistant state attorney said he has proof of the couple's blood relationship and can establish that they were aware of their status when they were married.
That's unbelievable.
That is horrifying.
Where was that? That's in Florida, but where at?
No, Manatee County. That's all we know.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
town.
A bad area, I think.
It's Florida. It's called. What part of Florida is not a bad area? It's inside the Disney park, like right. By the Epcot Center, Eiffel Tower.
That's a bad area.
That's bad. Heiser's mother, Karen, now remarried, said Hendry fathered both of her children during their unhappy 10-year marriage. This wasn't even like a one-night stand, and they were married for 10 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they talking about? They didn't know.
It's not like he got a girl pregnant when he was 17 and they gave her up for adoption. They've never seen the child. He knew that child.
Well, if you want further proof, a court file in Manatee County shows that Jimmie Hendry petitioned for divorce from Karen on February 20th, 1978, and in the filing identifies 2 children, Steve and Trina, the one he fucking married.
Sir.
He says, quote, he doesn't know where that petition came from. I don't know who filled out my divorce petition 10 years ago. I'm unsure of it.
I don't know where that came from.
Wow. Come on.
Put records, sir.
Wow. We are not okay. That is crazy.
We have not been okay for 40 years, evidently.
Fucking time. So February 22nd, 1990, the Yahwehs give up their warehouse to pay a bill, or all their bills. The Temple of Love has agreed to surrender a Liberty City warehouse it owns in order to pay off court judgments worth $1.46 million. A friendly foreclosure is being performed on the warehouse. Friendly foreclosure.
What is that?
That is an oxymoron there.
Turn it over willingly? That's still a foreclosure.
Get the fuck out, buddy. Is that what we're talking? Get the fuck out, friend.
Hey, pal, why don't you go on home?
Live in the streets.
Yeah.
My brother. What the fuck are you doing?
You're outdoors now.
Yeah, just like Dookie. They said them and their apparently this is to pay off the whole apartment complex judgment here. So the ex-tenant's lawyer says the Yahwehs are complying with the terms but have slipped behind in payments for their warehouse. They had bought the warehouse for $605,000 back in 86. So
what's it worth now?
They don't say, but they say that we've worked out a three-way deal, a friendly foreclosure. We expect to wind it up in another 2 or 3 months. For tax purposes, the Dade County values the warehouse at $593,018. So that's less than
it's lost value.
What they've bought it from. Its resale is expected to satisfy the Yahweh's debt, leaving enough cash to reduce their debt to the people evicted. So this is going to settle everything here. The circumstances seem to signify bad financial trouble. Their lawyer, Yahweh's lawyer, says, no. Quote, they're doing very well. My clients are only attempting to meet their obligations pursuant to the judgment against them. This is no different than any business streamlining to make itself more efficient and cooperate with its business connections. I thought they were a religion.
Yeah.
Not a business. And
your assets are losing value.
Yeah.
Either way, whether you're a business or a religion or whatever you are, you're not doing well.
No, this is if you're selling property to, and I don't know if that's to hide, like if they paid it with cash would they have to then show where that came from? Whereas if they sell this, then they know where it came from, so it's less. I'm not sure how it works. The other lawyer said, I think they're acting cooperatively and responsively, getting Ekadoga paid and paying down their debt with us. We're trying to settle everybody's debts in a friendly fashion. Okay. Now, right after that, there's an article, Neighbors Sorry the Yahwehs Are Leaving. God, I hate people. They're so fucking stupid.
They're very sorry.
They're so fucking stupid. They're like, well, I mean, they don't let people sell drugs around here, so it's fine that they murder people and do all this shit and fraudulently steal all this fucking money and rape kids. It's
quiet
fine
during the day.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
It's the exact same fucking dumb thing as like where people are like, I like that it's a mafia neighborhood. Nothing happens. Old ladies are safe to walk down the street. It's like, well, yeah, but also,
things happen.
There's some other shit going on.
Yeah.
So they say, as secretive followers of Yahweh Ben Yahweh loaded up 4 years of memories and reconditioned furniture at a warehouse in Liberty City, neighbors lamented their departure. One neighbor who owns a truck repair business near them said, you hear rumors all the time about how terrible they are, but they've been good neighbors to me.
Yep.
I only see what I see on the surface. As far as
State Farm.
Yeah, as far as I know, the ocean is just a calm. There's nothing going on. Things aren't eating each other underneath the surface. I don't care about that. Looks nice to me.
It's a very serene white-capped wave.
Those waves look lovely. He said they've held down crime, made the area look better, and they're friendly. Yeah, okay, they're also a criminal fucking cult organization.
They're committing crime.
God damn it, people are so fucking stupid. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Then another one here, there's a security force in the area, and the captain says, I'm sorry to see them go. I consider them neighbors like the ones in my neighborhood. They've helped us round up thieves around here and have been very cooperative. People said they started out being apprehensive, but now, they love the Yahwehs. They said
sounds like the Yahwehs have muscled all the other crime out, meaning they're a worse form of crime.
Yes, they're the John Gotti in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So the kids boosting car stereos take the weekend off. That's what happened. They move to the next street.
There's no lemon sharks or nurse sharks, but there's a shitload of bull sharks around here.
There's some great whites. They said they wore these white sheets and carried long shepherd sticks. They've intimidated people, so less was stolen. Well, that's nice. That's good. That's a worse problem.
Less was stolen, but what was stolen was probably by them.
Well, they said, one said, they called me at home in North Miami at 3 a.m. when we had left the door open. They said, ever since then, the security has been better around here. Oh, my God. They said, the Yahwehs have been really good neighbors. I have no complaints, said one. And a good neighbor is hard to find. Okay. I guess so, if the cult is a good neighbor.
Florida's fucked.
Good Lord. At least no fathers are marrying their daughters that we know of here. So Yahwehs start basically a grocery store here. Mm-hmm. So they that's what they do. They said one person around here said we never really had a supermarket here in the area. Oh. This isn't a shit area that doesn't have. These are food deserts,
right?
That don't really have grocery stores. They said they'd have to have someone drive to another neighborhood to get groceries, basically.
Oh wow.
They said that, and all the prices are so high at the little stores, the little bodegas overcharge you, that you never have anything left. So they say this is a good thing. This is first-rate foods, the second supermarket to operate in Overtown in decades. The first closed in '86, just 6 months after opening. So they're gonna.
Well, good news. Now Florida's overrun with Publix, and you can get anything you want
everywhere. Yeah. They said, we've spent $300,000 in cash to fill this store because we're trying to show the people what you can do here. That's a spokesperson for the Yahwehs here.
Yeah.
They said the Yahwehs fix things. This is an Overton resident here, says, who's about 86 years old. The Yahwehs fix things up, hotels, apartments, and everything else. This store needs them, and so do we. Said, I spent almost half my money on food and transportation to the store, one guy said here. When I come back, I have to take a cab, and we stuff the trunk and back seat in the front seat and even in the driver's lap. So he said, look at the prices. He said, this is half of what I usually pay at the grocery store here, so they have good prices. He said, this is what they're doing, and I don't know. They want to open this deal.
The quality can't be good, though, right? If they're selling it at cheap prices?
I mean, they might be getting less. Like any cult, I think they're trying to ingratiate themselves. So they might be selling it at a cut rate price just to get the neighborhood on their side. I mean, this is
some charity work here and
this might essentially, if they break even, this is a PR stunt that makes them look good. You know what I mean? Because look at this. This article is just all about
how they're saving them shitloads of money.
Yeah. Now, there is Jorge Nieves, who owns a small grocery store across the street.
Uh-oh.
And he said, it's unfair to me that the city is supporting this. All my life I've paid taxes, and now they're helping people to compete with me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's tough on that guy.
Put me out of business.
May 4th, 1990, Yahweh testifies in crime probe. So now we're going to have to hear him. He gets on the stand here in federal court. So there's been a federal investigation, and apparently a big stumbling block in this has been the confusion over Yahweh names, because witnesses can identify suspects only by their Yahweh name.
Oh,
which is something Israel. So that could be anything. So the U.S. Attorney's Office, seeking to locate suspects, subpoenaed Yahweh to surrender the so-called Lamb's Book of Life, a source close to the investigation. Defectors from the sect have told the FBI and local police and homicide detectives that the Lamb's Book, a thick-bound volume, lists every member of the Yahweh Nation dating back to the group's founding in the 70s.
Uh-oh.
So they said the investigation dates back to '86 and focuses on 7 Yahweh sect-connected members. So they say Yahweh, a quixotic, blue-eyed Oklahoman with the Christian name Hulon Mitchell Jr., entered the courthouse Thursday without a Lamb's Book, his arms folded. He left behind his mobile telephone after one of the Yahweh women read the sign on the metal detector, no electronic devices allowed. After 65 minutes, U.S. Attorney Richard Scruggs emerged from the first-floor grand jury room and told 2 lawyers that the self-proclaimed Son of God was going to the 9th floor to see federal judge William Hovler, because they've asked him to produce something and he's not doing it.
Right.
Generally, federal judges are used to having their shit obeyed, and when they're not obeyed, they get a little pissy.
Contempt of court, right?
They start throwing people in jail for shit like that usually. They said the 40-minute meeting with Hovler apparently had something to do with the whereabouts of the Lamb's book, but no one would confirm that. Hovler declined comment through a spokeswoman, saying the matter concerned a secret grand jury proceeding. So we'll find out here what happens with that. So they said they're not satisfied with scratching the surface. We're trying to tie all the connections together. That's what one of the U.S. attorneys said. They want to know what the hell is going on here. The Yahwehs call them liars who fabricate things against them, and they're victims, obviously. That's what they're doing here. Yeah. So they're also talking about all the conspiracy here. I want to know more about the father-daughter love fucking match back there.
Go back to that.
I'm going to go back to that. I want to know all about their lives. I want to know, because that was, think about it, that was like 35 years ago. So what the fuck has happened in their lives since then? He's
What's her
probably
last
dead.
name? Trina what?
I don't even remember. Who knows how many times she's been married? But I mean, think about it. She married her dad when she was 18. She's probably gone through 6, 7 husbands by now. She wasn't raised very well, I don't think, Trina.
No.
And him, Christ, I hope he's dead by now. Can only hope. He was 41, so he might be dead. Now, May 18th, 1990, the Yahwehs are pissed off over news leaks. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they asked a federal judge to halt a grand jury investigation of his client until the source of the leaks about the case are found. Secret grand jury proceedings have, like, supposedly closed files for now, and someone in the court's been leaking shit to the press, basically, which happens every time. It happens all the time.
Somebody on either side.
So it could be a clerk in the court. Somebody is leaking something. But the Yahweh attorney saying we should halt everything till we figure out this.
Stop everything till we find the leak?
This is Ellis Rubin again. He said the court has the discretion to terminate the grand jury proceedings because of alleged leaks of the grand jury proceedings where there is evidence of misconduct on the part of government employees.
Right.
And in the same motion, Rubin also confirmed the main elements of the Herald stories, that the federal probe centers on whether Yahweh and 9 lieutenants from the Temple of Love ran a criminal enterprise from 81 to 86 that dealt in extortion, firebombing, and murder. So he essentially confirmed all the leaks, confirmed the information while complaining about them, which is fucking funny. But Rubin said, I think the only ones who can actually be cited are members of the U.S. Attorney's Office or their agents. So that's what they're trying to do. June 15th, 1990, Yahwehs get warning for violations at school. Now, this is what's going on. After 2.5 years of bureaucratic neglect, City of Miami inspectors are cracking down on code violations at a school run by the Yahwehs. According to records released, inspectors last month found plumbing defects, exposed wiring, a ventilation problem, no smoke detectors, missing exit signs, and obstructed exits from classrooms. Shit that kids die from in fires and stuff.
Basic shit. We're not even getting to the curriculum or whether the test scores around here. Where are the covers for those outlets?
All the desks go, none of them sit flat and flush. That's not even an issue now.
We'll get to whether or not the kids have pencils.
Never mind.
What's with that exposed wire?
Yeah. Well, the pencils caught on fire and they couldn't get it last time. So they said that the Yahwehs here, a warning for school violations. The school is located at 151 Northwest 60th Street. And they said that there's no permit. When the inspection team showed up, followers of Yahweh here denied access to the second and third floors of the school to city inspectors.
Wow.
According to, apparently the city said there are dormitories there. You can't house the kid. If you have a boarding school, like that's a whole other thing with inspections and what you need to have and all that. Wow. So they said the latest reports of school safety problems are similar to violations that code enforcers uncovered in late 1987, and the city never pursued them. So they saw a bunch of violations and they were like, that's all right, and just didn't even bother.
We'll document them and then go ahead and fix those. And when you call us back to approve it.
And what's their excuse for that? We transfer inspectors around. Things get lost. Sometimes things become emergencies and others get put on the bottom of the pile. So a school with not proper fire, hookups here, like proper smoke detectors and exits and shit that you need in plumbing. That'll just go by the wayside. Wow. The fire inspector said not much has changed. So he goes, I don't know what they're really talking about. They've been doing this for years. Meanwhile, the Yahweh said, the Temple of Love will certainly comply with any requirements of the law. Where you have children, you want safety. But they didn't let them in, though. So they say that the Yahweh school is an example of the sect's positive accomplishments. This is what one of them said. It's like an ideal situation of peace and joy. They teach the Bible. We teach the government of God.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. They said, we do not have one instance of juvenile delinquency. That's perfectly natural, perfectly normal.
Every kid is very well behaved?
Not one misbehaved child, which means they're terrified, beaten, or drugged. One of the three, because that's not possible. They're children.
Let me ask you, if I walked into a room and raised my hand, does the whole class flinch?
Yeah, that's what we're talking. Yeah. Or
that's
do they
scary.
slowly turn their heads at me and blink real slow when I walk in the room? Does it take them a second to register I'm there? What are they on? So they said, we do not have one instance of juvenile delinquency. There are no fights in our school. Again, very natural for young boys to never get in fights. We don't need any police officers here. There's no disrespect for teachers and adults either there or in the community at large. We do not have one instance of venereal disease or AIDS and not one single teen pregnancy.
Okay.
Wow. That's crazy. The city doesn't
even... When you brag about that, that feels like it's on purpose because you're doing some things specifically just to be able to have that stat.
And we're fucking these kids, too. That's the crazy part. They're not getting knocked up. Yeah.
We're just real good at pulling out.
Real good here. The city doesn't know how many kids attend the school. And the sect said it doesn't count its members. You should know how many kids are in the school because you need certain amounts of things, bathrooms, food, things of that nature. So that's pretty goddamn crazy.
Are they getting government funding for this?
No, they don't get government funding for anything. But still, you can't run anything with a bunch of kids and not have it meet certain regulations. Private schools have regulations.
There's still a fire code that you have to abide by. Yeah.
At a fucking Taco Bell, there's regulations that you have to abide by. So the records show that in 1987, the sect didn't have a certificate of use for the school, any authority to run it. An inspection found 8 exit signs missing from classrooms and a dormitory. Lighting was inadequate. Fire alarm and smoke detector equipment were improper. The only locks on the dorm doors were deadbolts. They didn't even have privacy locks. Judith Israel, the sect spokeswoman, vowed that the sect would correct the problems but asked the city for time, saying, as always, we strive to be moral and law-abiding citizens of the city of Miami and do all in our power to upgrade our community. So on June 22nd, 1988, a fire inspector cautioned in a letter, failure to comply will result in us turning this case over to the state's attorney's office, and it never was. They said it apparently slipped through the cracks. They said, we do not have the manpower to keep up with the workload. That's it, basically.
To refer something? Okay, all right.
So this week, Attorney Rubin, the Yahweh's attorney, promised the Yahwehs will correct the problems as soon as arrangements can be made. But at the same time, the Yahwehs sent out an unsigned open letter to the world.
Nice.
To the world.
To the world.
Not to a specific person, to the world.
To Mother Earth.
Everybody. To the trees and the rocks and the fish in the sea, everybody.
North Korea.
That's what's going on here. And North Korea. They said, declaring, quote, we are not going to meekly stand by and watch our First Amendment rights trampled by the wicked in high places.
Oh, boy.
If we want to have our kids burned to death in a dead-bolted fucking
That's
school,
our prerogative.
That's our prerogative. The 3-page letter blamed governmental harassment on a Herald reporter who asked for the records. Yeah, it's their fault that you're doing this. It said the city descended an invading army looking for excuses to shut down the only black Hebrew Israelite school in Florida.
It's a fascinating sentence.
That is very specific. They're trying to shut down the only lion taming and tiger nursing school in all of Montana. Like, it's very specific.
And mouse trainers. It's not fair.
God damn it, man.
Very targeted.
Yeah, we do flea circuses in here, and they learn how to do it. So They say this is open proof of individuals within the media and government being anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-God, Yahweh, anti-Bible, and anti-religious. I would hope so, yes.
It should be.
I wish that was true. Well, not the first part, but at least the end part. I wish that the fucking government wouldn't suck their balls constantly coddling these fucking people, not making them pay taxes for the horse shit that they do, and then licking their fucking balls that everything they do is great because I hate this shit. They said no public official is God. The whole world knows that Yahweh is the name of God. How can a city fight against God and enjoy prosperity? Okay, now you're in silly fantasy land now. Now you've gone even past civil rights and all that. Now you're just into horse shit that doesn't mean anything that you've made up. This fire supervisor said he's not intimidated.
Good. Well,
yeah.
Forward that to the right channels then.
Yeah, let's see if we can do this here. They also said here in the open letter, they said in 1981, Yahweh ben Yahweh, then known as Moses Israel, wrote a similar open letter, harsher in tone, to the Dade County Fire Safety Bureau.
What did he say?
Oh, wow. After a lieutenant called the temple a hazard and said it should be vacated immediately. In the letter, they called it vicious harassment by a white fireman and said, you are not to interfere in any way with the words of the Most High God, Yahweh. Any interference on your part will classify you as an open enemy to the God of this universe, who at the very least uses forces of nature in all of its awesome fury and power to destroy those who oppose his will.
That feels like a threat.
You don't have smoke detectors. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't have covers on your outlets. What are you talking about? You'll bring down righteous, furious anger. What are you doing?
Yeah, furious anger. What the fuck? If you're God, fucking whip up a couple of 9 volts and fix this shit. This is not that hard. Just stick them in the ceiling and we're good. The fuck is wrong with you people? All right, July 8th, 1990, they say murder in the Temple of Love, ? Yes,
Love
stupid.
to know.
There's already a fucking guy sitting in prison for it, dummy. Karate champ battered, Yahweh defectors say. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
From back then? This was 83. Leonard Dupree, who was a former U.S. karate champion, and they talk about how they beat him. And from the sworn statement, they said all the other brothers jumped on top of him and they beat him to death. Okay. Interesting. So that's what's going on, and they're wondering about that. So this is now reporters are starting to really, anybody who left the temple, they want to talk to and get a good story. So they said that they don't know anything of the attorney Ellis Rubin said they don't know anything about the Dupree case, which is the karate guy, and said, I don't think it was an official ceremony at the temple, he said. I would hope it's not an official ceremony for everyone to beat a man to death, but... they said the Dupree.
There were no candles lit. Everybody, calm down.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't on the schedule, wasn't on the itinerary. They just, they kind of a impromptu, impromptu, like a song.
He was just blessed.
Yeah, you know how songs are in musicals? They just kind of come out of nowhere. That's what this is for us.
Yeah,
violence is our music. So they said the Dupree case is one of the 14 homicides and disappearances since 1981 that investigators are trying to link to the Yahwehs. They said if things are true and did happen, where are the charges? That's what Rubin said. Well, that's what they're trying to figure out, stupid. You guys have been holding it up.
It's an investigation. That's what happens.
Then there's charges. They said most of the Yahweh cases weren't prosecuted. Obviously, only the ones that have been prosecuted are the ones against...
And the ones with evidence.
With Rozier, yeah. So they said the sect leader is currently on a nationwide speaking tour, a, quote, pilgrimage touching base with his supporters, his attorney said. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yahweh, in a civil trial last year, testified that he had no knowledge of anyone ever being beaten at the temple. He denies ever flogging a follower or ordering an execution. He said, never in my life. And his Rubin, the attorney, says he has some crazy followers.
Does he?
Really? Does that mean Yahweh ben Yahweh is responsible for what they did? That's probably a question that a jury is going to have to answer. I think if you control everything they do is your responsibility.
Yeah, if you're the boss and you say that everything that happened, if you're going to take credit for all the good, you got to take credit for all the bad.
Yep. If you have an 8-year-old kid, everything they do, good or bad, you can take some responsibility for.
Yeah.
Once they're 17, it's different. Once they have autonomy to do things. But if you control literally when they eat and sleep and what they watch, and then it's all on you at that point.
Yeah, their behavior is certainly you.
Yeah, even if you didn't tell them to do something terrible, what they did is on you because you didn't watch them, because you're supposed to be responsible because you're taking full control of these people. Mm-hmm. Same thing. So they said the state is ill-equipped to deal with these types of organizations. That's the state assistant attorney. The state doesn't have the resources. Cases like this are more suited for the federal government. A giant sweeping investigation of a huge – really, they don't have the resources for this. They have the resources for, Johnny killed Billy on the corner over a bag of something and, where's Johnny now? We can find him. This is not that. This is you need to take everything apart, including the finances and real
people
estate.
With ears missing, for Christ's sake.
The ears, you got to find the ears. They said the karate case has 30 to 50 possible witnesses.
Wow.
Which is interesting. They said the karate guy, and specifically here, Dupree, who won at 20, won the U.S. Karate Association Championship. Eric O'Neill, who trained with him, said when he dropped an axe kick, it was like a ton of bricks falling on your head.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ, I guess so. So they said his father said he said he was going to Miami to see the Black Messiah at a feast. He was supposed to be back in 2 weeks. And never came back. He got killed there. They said he borrowed $200, packed a blue fold-up bag with a karate uniform and also white sheets, and hung a Star of David necklace around his neck and caught a ride to Miami.
How about it?
Interesting. So, they're looking into this, and they really can't find it. They said anything. The cops said that they feel like there's 50 people around, and they haven't heard shit about it, even though there's 50 people there. So that doesn't give them a lot of hope that they'll ever know anything about it here. In civil lawsuit in 1987, legal services attorney Barbara Malone took a 129-page sworn statement, from an ex-Yahweh elder, Lloyd Clark, and that's how the episode became public record. Clark testified there was another guy that was killed right there on the premises. He was a karate expert. He was supposed to have been sent down to kill Yahweh ben Yahweh. The matter also came up in a criminal case that year. Defense attorney Jeffrey Winkle declared in a court motion obtained from the state's attorney's office that independent witnesses consisting of both civilians and law enforcement officers had corroborated an account of a homicide at the temple. Recently, the Herald tried to identify possible witnesses to find out what they said. The FBI said the Herald asked the Herald not to publish any names. They said printing the names of witnesses or potential witnesses could be a death sentence. Yeah, they're just going to go kill those people. Right. So that's what they say. They talk about are you here to hurt me? When Yahweh went up to him and he said no, and aren't you a karate expert and all that kind of shit. So they said they had this big duel on the other part of the temple, and he beat Amri, knocked Amri out like in 2 punches. So basically Yahweh said, well, we have our own karate expert. You should fight him. And this guy knocked him out in like 2 seconds because he's like a national karate champion. He's not a green belt.
Your karate is learned in a room with no fire extinguishers.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, this other guy's like probably a green belt from a strip mall somewhere next to.
I'd take this dead
next to the next to the Guitar Center. This
and the H&R Block.
This guy's he's got a little something else going on here. So afterward, according to the motion, Yahweh ben Yahweh instructed his followers to, quote, get him. Mm-hmm. Although the 3 accounts conflict in detail, all portrayed the karate champ as an enemy of Yahweh. The court motion depicted him as an undercover FBI agent, and the defector said he was a Muslim infiltrator.
Oh.
Clark testified the karate expert had been sent down to kill Yahweh ben Yahweh. The defector's account said, name deleted, hit him with a staff. Name deleted came and started beating him in the head with a jack, and name deleted had a broomstick and poked his right eye out. Yeah. One woman was so upset she ran out of the door. Someone brought her back and made her hit Dupree. Then someone locked the doors. And they said some people were hollering, that's what he gets for being a hypocrite. Wow. Clark testified that Yahweh ben Yahweh made every person, child, mothers, old and young, lay hands on this guy. So if anyone talked, they'd be implicating themselves.
They're all part of it, yeah.
Oh, man. So they said that Dupree died on the floor, his body mutilated. Later, 4 disciples took off their Star of David necklaces and changed from their white robes to their street clothes there, wrapped the body in 2 large plastic bags, put it in the back of a beige pickup, and headed west on Alligator Alley. They took along fishing rods to make it look like they were going fishing while they were out there. Wow. The court motion said the body was discarded in an unknown location in the Everglades. One of the 4 men on the disposal team is a 49-year-old Opelika resident, the defector said. Other possible witnesses believed to have been sect members at the time. A Midwesterner, name deleted, quote, "A lot of wrong went on. I've been subpoenaed. I can understand why some people think they're going to get their heads cut off, but I know how to protect myself." Mm-hmm. Another guy, name deleted, who's now in prison, said, "That's no part of me and I don't want any part of them," he told a prison guard who relayed the message. An 18-year-old aspiring track star said, "I remember they whooped up the Jamaican dude pretty good. I planned my escape. I missed my childhood." Wow. Another 22-year-old man who was a father on drug probation said, "I just got fed up and left. I wish I could turn back the clock 10 years and start over again. I don't trust anyone. I didn't tell the police much. I have 104 problems as it is, and I don't need another." And Jay-Z said, "What if," hold on, 104 is a little wordy. What if?
99
that's
is
a good
bitches.
number.
I got 104.
99.
Still no bitches.
That's not, yeah, I think I'm going there. But thanks for the idea.
Yeah.
It started at 104 and he pared it down. He's like, it's a little much. This doesn't sound right. Another man, 21, part-time janitor wearing a beeper and a Yahweh T-shirt said it was great, but that's all I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. Okay. These are all different people they tried to talk to. So, yeah, they're talking about all sorts of different things. They said occasionally, though, prosecutors try to go after a case with no body. No body, no crime, as we know from small-town murder, isn't a thing that actually exists. A missing person is they assume you're dead and that's it. So
with enough evidence, you don't need a body. Yeah,
they said prosecutors will try cases like that anyway. The most famous in Florida, the Chillingworth murder case, a jury convicted 2 killers for the drowning at sea of a Palm Beach Circuit Court judge and his wife. Their bodies, weighted with lead and tossed into the Gulf Stream, were never recovered.
Whoa.
Jesus. In the Dupree case, police figured for a while they might be close to the recovery of a body. A witness tried to take them to the site but couldn't find it. They said, body or no body, Leonard Dupree's father thinks his son is dead. Obviously. His dad said, the detective wouldn't tell me very much. It seems like they're dragging their feet and I don't know why. For some reason, it's all very hush-hush. Uh-huh. All right. Wow. Same paper, same day.
Yeah.
Headline, sect treated unfairly, lawyer contends.
Okay, Ruben, you're doing great at this.
This guy is on top of everything. They said, what if years ago a former member of your church or synagogue pleaded guilty to 4 vicious and brutal first-degree murders for which he plea bargained out of the death penalty to a total of only 20 years in prison, 22. What if in an effort to reduce his time in prison further, this murderer is now blaming or trying to convince a federal grand jury to blame your priest, minister, or rabbi for these crimes and others? Okay. Wow. That is ballsy. And while all this is going on, what if the Miami Herald decides to run a series of articles based on the murderer's stories and some from a few other disgruntled former members of your religion? This nightmare's actually happening to Yahweh ben Yahweh.
He is so good.
Guy. Yeah. Wow. Hey, I'm not big into church. Like, I don't go to church or anything. So people out there who go to church, maybe tell me, do they control everything you do and where you live and when you go, and do you give all your money to them?
They shouldn't.
Do you have to wear a certain thing all the time? Because if you don't, then really it's not quite the same as somebody under your direct cult bullshit. They said for several years now, this newspaper's targeted him with a series of negative, sensational, and inflammatory stories resulting in adverse reactions in the community. Wow, weird. Why the Herald assumes authority to conduct and publish their stories while federal authorities are investigating is anyone's guess. I don't know. First Amendment, probably. Freedom of the press, I think, is what they're going for there.
Yeah, but he's going to make it sound like that's villainous, right?
Wow. Oh, yeah. Anything against Yahweh.
He's so good.
He's a good lawyer.
That is money well spent.
A few days ago, and he's so full of shit, and that's what Yahweh likes. He'll say the bald-faced horse shit that no one else could say with a straight face. He'll say it. A few days ago, at their request, 2 reporters from the Herald appeared in my office seeking specific answers or comments to various questions and areas of the paper's concern. As I pointed out several times, that there has been an official notification from the U.S. Attorney's Office that there is a federal grand jury investigation of my client and others going on now, and that I preferred to let the grand jury complete its work before commenting on these matters. I expressed hope that the Herald, in the spirit of fair play, would do the same. We have already filed with the presiding U.S. judge a motion calling for a complete investigation of who previously leaked details of the investigation to the Herald, who, of course, printed them. Okay, so they're pissed off. Okay, October 7th, 1990. This is fucking wild. It is Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day.
Yeah, in Florida. They have given him a day recognized by the government of Florida.
Miami Mayor Xavier Suarez declared October 7th, 1990, Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day.
This will not backfire on you at all.
No, this is going to look great in the campaign and the re-election. Yeah. About 2,000 followers of the self-proclaimed Messiah celebrated their leader in a sea of white robes at Miami Arena. A representative from the city of Miami presented a proclamation signed by the mayor designating it Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day. Mm-hmm. Wow. That is fucking wild. While most of the audience were Yahweh followers, some were curiosity seekers who said they had not been deterred by questions surrounding this controversial figure. Okay. Morons, as Gene Wilder says. Yahweh here, they talk about, is under investigation, blah, blah, blah. One lady who came said, I believe in having an open mind.
Oh, do you?
Really? Her and her husband came. He's done a lot of good. Other than that, I don't know much about him except what I've read in the papers. Wow. Iris.
That's enough, isn't it?
For me, yeah, plenty. Yeah. You should hear these crime and sports episodes. Iris Bain, 30, is not a Yahweh follower, but said she is impressed with the sect's accomplishments in the county. Mm-hmm. They said controversy is meant to be damaging, but in the long run, it's good, said Bain, who lives in Liberty City. Controversy keeps you in the spotlight.
Right.
Okay.
Any publicity, James? Not even bad publicity, still publicity.
I guess so, man. Charles Howard, 26, a Boston resident who's belonged to the Yahweh movement for 5 years, said the attacks on Yahweh are racially motivated now.
Oh.
Yes. Is it? Which one is it? You've mentioned several motivations. I'd really like to know which is the driving force. Is it racism? Is it anti-Semitism? Mm-hmm. Is it anti-religiosity? Is it just another religion who'd like to have those followers? Which one is it? Who is it? Let us know. He said he's under closer scrutiny, this guy says, about everything here. Said that this all shouldn't taint, what he's accomplished here.
Right.
So he said, Yahweh said, quote, I am the Prince of Peace, the Savior. Yahweh will bless you that bless me. Okay. Meanwhile, a federal grand jury was putting a final touches on a 25-page indictment accusing Yahweh and 15 disciples of 14 murders, extortion, and running a racketeering enterprise.
14 murders.
14 murders. Wow. Here's a crazy thing on Halloween night, 1990 from the Herald. Yahweh's become issue in state House race.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's a race for a Florida House seat, and the Republican candidates' campaign flyers seek to link Democratic opponent Darrell Jones with Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Basically, it's a white Republican running against a black Democrat and trying to say the black Democrat's a member of the Yahwehs because he's a black Democrat. That's
nice work, guys.
Yeah. They sent out thousands of flyers. Yeah. Flowers would have been nicer. That would have been great. In District 118 that ask, why is Darrell Jones' campaign working with the Yahwehs and has separate pictures of Jones and Yahweh Ben Yahweh on them? Mm-hmm. That is fucking, they still do that shit. That bullshit kind of, this still goes on, stuff like this.
What do you mean?
they put out horseshit flyers right before an election. They put out flyers that say that, the cops are doing sweeps that day. Stay away from them. They put out horseshit like that to try to
I live in an
over.
area where there are a lot of elderly people, and boy, do they love scare tactic door flyers.
It works on those people.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of them that I throw away near election seasons I might start putting them on social media.
There's a million of them out there to put them with, so might as well. Jones called the flyers a racial attack and has filed a complaint with Dade's Fair Campaign Practices Committee. Jones said he's trying to put me in the same category with them so there would be a white backlash against me. He's using race for leverage and would not have otherwise have. Okay. The other guy who put that out said it wasn't racist. I mailed it to every voter in the district. I've thought about this for a while. I've talked with my pastor, and we wanted to be sure that the people of this district know where Darryl Jones stands. I needed to reach out to the people in the district to let them know that Jones has chosen to align himself with the Yahwehs. Jones said, I've never met Yahweh ben Yahweh. He's done some good and done some bad. I'll admit he'd be an interesting person to meet. Not right now, but sometime. Yahweh's and the Temple of Love are under investigation. And apparently Minshew, the Republican, said that Jones is aligned with the Yahwehs because he paid $536 to the Yahweh's Temple of Love printing press in July for 5,000 campaign brochures. Okay. Jones said the decision to use the Yahwehs was made by his publicist at the time, and he didn't really get into the specifics of who was printing up his flyers.
No.
Just stay under budget, really, is what you do there. Yeah. It's not really a part of what we're talking about. He said, I knew they had a print shop, and I got a deal. This is the person who, the publicist, the lady who did this shit, said, I knew they had a print shop, and I got a deal with them to do the copying for some of my clients at a reduced price. It was simply a matter of finding the best deals for my clients. I can't believe anyone would say that about Darryl. He's never even met Yahweh. Okay. Howard said she was able to get the deal through her son, who's a Yahweh member. Oh. Howard has 2 grown children who belong to the Yahweh faith there. Jones said Howard stopped working for his campaign in August because he needed to save funds. His decision to do a business with the Temple of Love played a small part in her leaving, he said. The Fair Campaign Practices Committee, after reviewing the flyers, has asked Minshew to meet with its members Thursday to discuss the complaint. That's what the chairman said. Rosenblatt's his name. Now, Minshew, the guy who's being accused of all this, said, Rosenblatt sounded hostile when he called me, like he's already made up his mind. He hurled a lot of accusations. I'm just not sure I'm going to show up. Okay.
Oh, he's not going to show up?
Doesn't care. November 18th, 1990. Religious cult leader in Miami arrested in murders and extortions. Yahweh ben Yahweh, the self-proclaimed son of God, a mere, less than a month after Yahweh ben Yahweh Day was declared in the city, is now arrested for
can't possibly be a bad thing.
What federal agents called a 6-year reign of terror.
Wow.
Yeah, that if you're the mayor, you're going, Jesus Christ! Somebody fucking tell me what the hell was going on.
Nobody told me? 6 fucking years?
God damn it! I look like an asshole. I just took pictures with this fucking guy. Gave him a giant key. It's huge. He probably beat people to death with it.
Fucking day.
Oh my God! Huge key. The federal complaint paints Yahweh as a ruthless leader who condemned dissident members to be beaten or to death or decapitated. He controlled the sex lives of his followers and forced female members to have sex with him. The U.S. attorney said this brings an end to a reign of terror directed against the entire community. Yahweh ben Yahweh claims to be the true God, but in the indictment, he's the leader who directed the murders. And that's the other thing. If he's God and he's directing, he can't. You're God and you can't control people under you? What are you talking about? At the same time, 7 followers were arrested at the Temple of Love in Miami as well. Yahweh's second in command, Judith Israel, was picked up in Atlanta. Good, because I've heard a lot of horse shit out of her mouth. Another member was arrested in Durham, North Carolina. 3 cult members were stopped in Lafayette, Louisiana, as they drove in a van from New Orleans to Houston. 4 members are being sought. In the Miami raid, more than 100 FBI and Metro-Dade County SWAT units, many wearing helmets and flak jackets and wielding riot shotguns, swept down on the Liberty City headquarters.
Jesus.
seems necessary. These people
Dead
fight.
serious.
Yeah. The charismatic Yahweh, who says he realized he was divine at age 3, and whose name means God, the Son of God.
Yeah.
Wow. In Hebrew, was arrested at 4:45 a.m. Approximately 35 FBI agents, some of whom had tailed the blue-eyed son of a preacher since Monday, swarmed the hotel lobby. They like Bin Laden'd him.
Yeah.
They came fucking dead serious. I like it. One Fed called upstairs and asked the shocked Yahweh to surrender. The sect leader, surrounded by bodyguards, came downstairs peacefully and was led away in white robes and handcuffs.
I've never met a leader of a religion that needed bodyguards. I mean, apart from
you
the
need
Pope.
bodyguards. You need bodyguards if you're famous, if you're a big famous guy. That would
I
be,
suppose.
Yeah. They got bodyguards.
I
All
guess
those
because he's
fucking guys
calling
have
himself
bodyguards.
God
Yeah.
and that the Pope is his representative. Those two guys definitely need bodyguards.
You think fucking Joel Osteen goes around by himself?
Yeah, that's great.
Doubt it. I guarantee you he has a giant
Jimmy
security
Swaggart did,
team.
though, right?
A huge security team.
Did he?
Huge.
Really?
And the
Really?
Tammy Faye and the huge security
Jim
team.
Baker. Jim Bob.
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Yeah, they had a whole. Basically, they bought a bunch of houses and made their own like compound out of a neighborhood where it was totally surrounded by security. They were insanely paranoid. All those people.
Who runs?
These religious cult, they get real paranoid, and people are out to get me.
I'll bet the Mormon guys do too, huh?
Fuck yeah, just because they need a place to spend all that fucking blood money they take in. Jesus Christ, they take in so much fucking money for no reason.
They have more than any other religion now.
Yeah, they're fucking, no other
Vatican
religion has a set standard rate that you have to pay them.
Yeah, but the Vatican's like their own country,
capos. Right? Yeah, technically their own country inside Rome there. Yeah.
Wow.
Inside Italy. So,
and Mormons have more money than that.
Yeah. On October 8th, Miami Mayor Xavier Suarez, who's under fire for refusing to welcome South African leader Nelson Mandela to the city, issued a proclamation designating it Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day. He's having a great month. Fuck Mandela, but this guy's awesome. Is a fucking wild month of decision-making for this mayor. He's really doing well. Wow. That is fucking hilarious. They said any dissenter was subject to extreme violence, including murder, to maintain control of the organization. They used random violence as a ritual initiation rite. Yeah, they claim Yahweh established the ultra-secretive group within the enterprise called the Brotherhood, the indictment says here.
Right.
And it talks about white devils. And so the accusations are November 11th, him and his followers tried to kill a man not connected to the group. Over the next 5 days, they beat and then decapitated a dissident Yahweh member, shot another Yahweh member, and tried to decapitate a female member with a machete.
Good Lord.
On September 17th, 1983, that is the Leonard Dupree Karate Man beating. May 20th, 86, firebombed a Delray Beach neighborhood, which we talked about earlier. October 31st, 86, shot to death 2 residents of that's the Robert Rozier thing. So that's what's going on there. November 9th, 1990, state probes long-held claims of child abuse in the Yahweh sect. Here we go. I'm very curious about this. They said for years the law enforcement community in Florida heard terrible stories about the children of the Temple of Love. No one did much of anything. This week, as almost a footnote to the 25-page indictment of the leader of the Yahwehs, a federal grand jury alleged the plight of those children in a single phrase. Here, they said the leader, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, quote, had sexual relations with both adult and minor female followers.
Uh-oh.
Yep, they said we are actively investigating allegations of child abuse, and then declined to elaborate more on that. Yahweh denies all allegations and called everything, quote, coming from an army of liars. The kids of Yahweh presented a portrait of childhood innocence, smart, neat, polite, well-behaved. That means terrified, by the way.
Yeah.
That's not... Yeah. Okay, if I asked you, give me adjectives to describe normal children, would any of those be in there?
Bounding.
Fucking
giggly,
hyper.
Yeah.
Moody.
Yeah.
Fucking disobedient, grumpy, tired, fun, crazy. I mean, there's all sorts, but not smart, neat, polite, and well-behaved from 7-year-olds.
Loud is usually
loud.
A first one, yeah.
Annoying comes to mind.
Yeah. The other day I walked into a pizza restaurant to order a pizza, James. There was children, like a sit-down pizza restaurant, kids running around. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm capable of having children ever. Even if I wanted kids, I would never.
You have two. That's plenty.
I'm done.
So
I'm done.
Me too. Yeah,
super done. But
too
that
old.
shit is
too old.
Wild, man.
No.
People that allow them to run and misbehave in public are the worst.
In public is crazy.
In public.
Yeah. Like, hey, listen. Button it up in public.
Cheese shaker at each other.
Oh, hell no. Yeah. No.
Dude, one of them opened it up and was like trying to put cheese on another kid.
My father would have punched me in the face if I did that.
I cannot imagine behaving like that in public.
Imagine what my dad would have done if I did that. You know him. He would have punched me right in the face, I think. What the fuck are you doing? He would have said. What's wrong with you? You're embarrassing everybody.
That is crazy, Tom.
My grandmother would have dragged me out by my hair, for Christ's sake.
That's what kids are today. They're just out of control.
But even back in the day, they were still boisterous.
Yeah.
They weren't this. This is weird. This means you've scared them and abused them into not being what they normally are. Right. So they said, that's the portrait. For visitors during tours of the school, they performed extraordinary feats of rote learning, reciting, sing-song, and rapid-fire all the chemical elements in their symbols, lithium, lutetium, magnesium, manganese, all this shit. Yahweh ben Yahweh asked the most profound math questions in the entire universe, the kids chanted, occasionally punctuating the litany with swings of fists. Yahweh ben Yahweh is causing us to be. But behind the facade was a grimmer tale. Child defectors say that they were beaten with switches, forced to work long hours, and sometimes went hungry. They said, and on paper, they didn't even exist. A former Yahweh elder said they didn't even have birth certificates. The kids that were born in the sect, they just wouldn't tell anybody about them. They
weren't even reported to the...
No, they didn't have social security numbers.
Oh, my God.
He said, Yahweh, he said, didn't want the devil to know how many of us there was. And he said, quote, he would say, this is one baby that the devil cannot touch, because he was against going to doctors and hospitals unless it was an extreme case, like he didn't want the white people to touch our babies.
How many babies do you think died?
Oh, my God. If they killed you could have done anything to these kids. They don't exist.
If they got sick and they just died?
Yeah. Or you just molested them to death and nobody would care. No one would know.
Nobody would know.
Testifying in a civil lawsuit in 1987, Clark said the women and girls had to serve the sect leader. Quote, he has free access to all women in the temple. He was having some of the girls there that were 12 years old.
Good Lord.
Ugh. In the past, Yahweh published pamphlets in which he exhorted women, bring me your infants and young children. I have plenty of room in our house. Our babies do not belong to white people. Our babies belong to our black creator, Yahweh. Nice. Another pamphlet titled, Can I protect my child from Whitey's evil influence? I don't know why that's so funny. Whitey. By the 80s, it feels like if you're calling somebody whitey, it was just it was like calling him a honky at that point. It was just kind of funny. Like it wasn't really an insult
referring
anymore.
To a group of people as whitey is very funny.
It's just funny. That's what I mean. From Whitey's evil influence. It's so 70s. It prohibited Yahweh's children from attending public schools. It said as long as they're in public schools, they are daily in the company of others who are selfish, disrespectful, immoral, evil, wicked, and drug users, liars and thieves, and haters of God's laws, quote unquote. Yeah. In other pamphlets titled America Terrorizes Yahweh's Hebrew Israelites and White Americans Are Kidnappers and Terrorists. Well, that's right to the point. That is right to the point there.
Boy, is that summing them up.
Wow.
Yahweh's specific term.
Man, Yahweh blasted law enforcement authorities in New York with that one. That occurred after prosecutors in Brooklyn charged 11 Yahweh followers with beating children, threatening to cut off their genitals, and applying hot barbecue sauce to their welts for failing to meet collection quotas. Children.
Hot temperature or spice?
I think they're talking spice, barbecue. Otherwise, the sauce would be irrelevant of the temperature. It's got to be spicy.
With ketchup. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah,
this has got to be some like
some habanero barbecue.
Sweet Baby Ray's hot and spicy or some shit there.
Good Lord.
Which is very good, by the way.
It's delicious. It's delicious. You can't put that on wounds.
I wouldn't treat wounds with it. No, I probably not. But I'd
dress anything with that.
No.
Other than a piece of meat.
Man, they said the kids sometimes underwent conditioning in a prayer room. Mm-hmm. Wow. One said, where I myself spent 6 days on my knees facing the east with no food, only water when he wanted to give it to you.
No, you didn't.
That's what Robert Rozier said that he did to them.
He did that?
Yeah. Robert Rozier said it was total humiliation. He said if you had a child that needed discipline, just like he would do today, take a switch from a tree and make them take their shirt off. I'm going to do shit that white people used to do when they owned black people to prove how bad white people are and how great we are. Just the sect, I mean.
6 days facing Mecca or wherever they're just discerning.
Fuck knows.
Israel, I guess.
Maybe.
With no food, 6 days? You can't. Can you live that long with no food and just water?
You can go like a month without food, yeah.
Really?
Especially if you're 270 pounds, you can live off your fat. You'd be fine.
The bigger you are, the easier, I guess.
Yep. Rozier added that the kids also had to dig in the ground with their fingers, they were told to do.
Yeah.
Ex-Yahweh Wilbert Roll's 3 children lived on temple property in the early 80s. He said his kids were never beaten, but others were. He saw children with welts from public beatings, he testified. Once he witnessed Yahweh himself whipping a teenager on the back with a foot-long switch.
Jesus God.
Assistant Dade State Attorney Michael Band, who prosecuted Rozier, said he knew of the child abuse allegations years ago, but the state, he said in an interview last summer, could never prove them. He said witnesses were afraid to talk. They were hard to find. In some instances, they expressed concern about brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers who remained in the sect. If I tell, they're going to torture my family.
Yeah.
So the Dade County State's Attorney's Office lacked the investigative resources available to the federal government, also the attorney says. But other agencies heard the story too and didn't act. The Florida Attorney General Robert Butterworth passed on allegations about the misuse of child welfare funds to Dade State Attorney Janet Reno and Florida's Auditor General. The Auditor General concluded that it was too late to do anything about any possible fraud because the statute of limitations had run out. The State Department of Health and Rehabilitative Services, which enforces laws against child abuse and neglect, said it didn't know a thing. They said no victim ever called the department's 1-800 number. Oh, well, I mean, if they didn't call the 1-800 number, it might not exist.
Report it, then did it exist?
Wow. Anyway, so November 14th, 1990, firebombing linked to the sect in Florida. Investigators say they have linked Yahweh cosmetic bottles to homemade firebombs. Remember, the bottles came from their bottling plant here. So the revelation came after defense attorney Dennis Kanan sought to show that his client, indicted Yahweh hairdresser Job Israel, should be granted bail. November 15th, 1990, ex-judge to defend sect leader. Okay. Religious sect leader Yahweh ben Yahweh, who appeared in court to answer federal racketeering charges without the help of prominent defense attorney Ellis Rubin, who suddenly withdrew from the case Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Finally had enough. Finally, this is too much for you even, you fucking jackass.
Even money's not enough.
Oh, my God. Instead, L.C. Hastings, a former federal judge, agreed to defend Yahweh and 3 of his followers at their initial appearance before a magistrate. They entered a not guilty plea. This is funny. He entered a not guilty plea for the self-proclaimed Son of God. Rubin said he wishes the Yahwehs well, but neither he nor Hastings would explain why Rubin decided to withdraw. Hastings was impeached from his judgeship by the U.S. Senate and ran an unsuccessful campaign for a post for the state cabinet this year. He's a jerk-off, in other words. He says, I do believe my client is not guilty. I do represent a very dignified religious leader, notwithstanding judgments others may have made. What the fuck, man? So, yeah, they said Yahweh will be represented by Hastings in further proceedings, but the 3 followers who were arrested with him in a $390 a night New Orleans hotel suite last week told Turnoff, the judge, they were indigent and would need court-appointed lawyers. Okay.
After a $400 a night suite stay?
Nah, I'm indigent. Isn't that amazing? I mean, room service is expensive in those places, and we just.
I am now indigent.
Up.
I stayed in a very nice suite last night.
Very nice. By the way, this is November. That article's from November 16th, 1990. This is like less than 6 weeks after it was Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day in the city.
Right.
That is hilarious. Never forget that. That 6 weeks before this, some dipshit stood up there with a giant key.
Yeah.
And said, "You've done so much good."
40 days ago.
Wow. Now, November 17th, 1990, article in the Miami Herald, Yahweh probes slowed by politics and religion.
Oh.
Yep. Eric Burke, disenchanted Yahweh, hothead dissenter, reported a crime in 1981. 2 men cut his phone line and picked his door lock. Burke, 44, a welder, scared them off. They dropped knives on the stairwell. Burke told police that Hulon Mitchell Jr., then known as Moses Israel, was out to get him. Police logged the offense, attempted burglary, and that was that. He said 9 years later, it's not so trivial. It was the first act of violence that federal prosecutors now cite in a sprawling racketeering indictment against Mitchell and 16 disciples of his Yahweh religious sect. They're calling him Mitchell. Once you're in federal custody and everything, now you're whatever the fuck they want to call you now. It's not, you don't get to make your own name up anymore. Oh, man. So they said defense attorneys are wondering how come, what took so long? If Hulon Mitchell ordered his death angels to kill hypocrites, why hasn't anyone charged with murder? Or why aren't they? The answers are fuzzy and complicated, the article goes on to say. The entire Yahweh case caught in a web of obstacles, slim resources, agency wrangling, witness management problems, disagreements over case strategy, personality clashes, religious, racial, and political concerns, and distrust. The case saw 4 federal prosecutors, 4 state prosecutors, 2 federal grand juries, and 2 FBI case agents, and 2 lead homicide detectives. Wow. Out of fear, 2 prosecutors and a defense lawyer packed weapons. Federal authorities joked nervously about blustery language in sect-published leaflets, flyers, and books. Mitchell's teachings once suggested suicide and a race riot should anything ever happen to the flock. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That sounds Jonestown-y.
I've heard a lot of those. I mean, Manson said the same shit.
That's basically, if I can't be in charge, let's all die.
Yeah. We
because
all go.
It's all about me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what this is.
If we
That's
can't
what
keep
every
this
cult
together
is.
as is, we all die.
If whatever your leader of whatever the fuck you are wouldn't prefer that when they die, everything go on nice and peacefully for everybody, then that means they don't care about it.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah. When the Pope dies, he doesn't go, we're all going to die. Everyone walk into the sea. Like, that's not what happens there. They just die. They get another one. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Get everybody together as soon as you decide, light a fire and let everybody know.
We'll all be waiting out there.
Yeah.
So, some defectors were more scared of Yahweh than the armed lawyers, and often they didn't trust investigators, seeing them as part of the same outside world that treated society's poor with indifference and neglect. One defector interviewed 1,000 miles from Miami said the law enforcement community simply couldn't understand the sect experience. He said it takes someone who's been there. They should have had people saying, I'd done the same thing and I'm living, and people would have poured out their hearts over certain things. They needed to get living witnesses to go, look, I'm still alive. Barbara Malone, a legal services lawyer who represented victims of sect-connected violence in politics, said politics and institutional racism inadvertently stalled the investigation. They said the victims, mostly poor or black, lacked the clout of a savvy black man who capitulated himself into the black economic messiah. She said black victims don't go around contributing to election campaigns. They don't have a fantastic voting record, and what percentage is in it for a prosecutor who goes to the mat for all those black victims? Basically, it gets you nothing politically, so what are you doing it for, is what she said. Privately, some law enforcement officials acknowledged that racial, religious, and political undertones during the investigation definitely existed. They wanted to make sure they had a solid case because they feared any charge would be denounced as persecution. Fair. So, yeah, they're looking. Metro-Dade detectives here went to the Temple of Love and noticed a green carpet, and they'd found the same kind of carpet at the decapitation crime scene that we talked about before. They tried to interview sect members. Mitchell and his companions, Linda Gaines, wouldn't cooperate. They said everyone was closed-mouthed, so police looked for other defectors. They said the day Carlton Carey was killed, the defectors blasted out of Miami like a shotgun. They ran away. Detectives had another obstacle. The 1981 newspaper story spelled it out. The state was reluctant to go after a black religious leader. They said, we always felt somewhere along the line someone would trip up and they'd start talking, and it just never happened. They said, someone will come out and say something, and they just didn't leave. Dade authorities also heard about the sexual child abuse, and they collected sect-published literature reminiscent of the People's Temple of Reverend Jim Jones in Jonestown. And they said, one book said, we have come to the point where we must find justice for ourselves or commit suicide. Wow. That is crazy. So, yeah. They talk about basically the Yahweh case lay all but dormant until May 20th, 86. Two police officers in Delray spotted a white van parked on a lonely farm road. The people inside were making Molotov cocktails. Whoops.
Inside the car?
Inside the van. Whoops, hey, this is a bad deal there. The officers smelled gasoline but didn't want to cause trouble. They just jotted down the license tag. I don't want to cause trouble or nothing.
I don't want to get near them. They've got gasoline in there.
What the fuck? A couple hours later, just 3 blocks away, the firebombs exploded. 2 children were badly burned, and people suspected the Yahwehs. The next day, the Delray Sergeant Robert Brand went to the place where the van stopped from the sandy grass and collected samples of gasoline kerosene mixture. These samples matched the homemade bombs. Police traced the tag. It belonged to a Miami Yahweh. Sergeant Brand visited the temple in Miami. In a display case, he noticed an unusual-looking wine bottle, the same kind used to bomb the homes. Is it for sale? He asked a Yahweh woman. No, she said, but everything else in the display case was. Not long afterwards, investigators got a break. A Yahweh elder, Lloyd Clark, walked into the Miami FBI headquarters feeling guilty about the infant girl burned in the bombing, and he talked about the bombing, murder, child abuse, welfare fraud, and everything else. Clark admitted taking part in the Yahweh beatings. He said, like Colonel Oliver North, I was following orders.
What?
This is right after all that. I'm kind of ashamed now. Wow. That's fucking hilarious. He said, I'm Oliver North.
That'll get you in so much trouble, though.
And a show on Fox News. Oliver North had a show on Fox News after completely being a fucking traitorous cunt. They were like, hey, I know what we'll do. He blamed it all on Reagan, who we also love. It's all fine. Everything's fine. Come on in.
I was just following orders.
Just following orders. So Detective King and 2 FBI agents began tracking down leads. Some defectors said they knew about a public execution. Another highly public episode occurred in October 86. 2 limousines, 6 buses, a van, and several cars pulled up to a rat-infested Opelika apartment complex, and that all happened. So there's a lot going on here. To say the least. He still hasn't also produced the book that has all the names in it or anything like that. So, yeah, I love how in the ear cases they initially suspected a deranged Vietnam veteran serial killer because they were cutting ears off. And it was them doing it, taking back a piece of it to Yahweh there. Jesus Christ, this is so much, all these fucking murders, man. So yeah, anyway, Hulon here, Yahweh was at the Monteleone Hotel in New Orleans when they arrested him. That's expensive
nice
hotel.
Too, right?
Beats me. I've only been to New Orleans once and it was gross, so no idea.
I stayed at the Monteleone.
No, nothing about it.
I'm sure I stayed at the La Quinta.
In New Orleans, I'm not even sure. I don't
remember where I stayed there, but I'm sure it was something French.
I flushed that shit right out of my memory.
I think the La Quinta I stayed in was L.E. Quinta.
Oh, the La Quinta. Yeah, it was. I think it was too.
The Lay Kingdom.
For fucking sure. November 18th, 1990, sect money shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
Cash source for mortgaged Yahweh empire is unclear. And so now they don't know how you got all your money.
Usually when it's unclear, that's illegal stuff.
Usually, otherwise you claim
it should be very clear.
Very clear. They said the temple leaders had boasted of establishing businesses worth $100 million, a claim Miami Mayor Xavier Suarez took at face value October 7th when he gave him a day. Then he did a seminar called How to Move from Poverty to Riches. Yahweh did. The Yahweh's claim of affluence is hard to substantiate here. A examination of public documents shows the group's recorded holdings in the county, 26 properties ranging from motels to apartments and vacant lots, are worth no more than $7.2 million, even by a liberal accounting of everything. Yeah. And the properties are so heavily mortgaged that the temple's net worth is just a fraction of that, as low as $1 million. Which is a pretty shitty cult you're running here. That's all you can put together.
Not just a shitty cult, but also terrible bookkeeping. If you think it's worth hundreds of millions.
They don't even write down what babies are born, for fuck's sake.
That's a great point.
Dade County says the temple owes about $50,000 in back taxes also, and some of the debt has been auctioned off in the form of tax certificates. They said the bottom line, it would seem they are having cash flow problems. Well, I would hope that people aren't giving them money just willy-nilly after they've been accused of all this fucking murder. So they said it's all their businesses and their rents and everything like that. The temple's 4 hotels, she said, gross $21,000 a month. Income from other businesses is unclear. Some businesses have boasted may not even exist. Mm-hmm. A temple publication lists more than 25 businesses, from cabinet makers to landscaping services, operated by temple followers, all with addresses and phone numbers belonging to temple properties. But people who answered calls placed to several of the business numbers recently said they hadn't ever heard of that business.
Oh.
So they think it just might be horseshit. As grocery stores the group manages in Overton and Little Haiti, Yahweh followers greet visitors with a smile, but the aisles are empty of almost all shoppers. One thing is certain, bank records subpoenaed by lawyers for the Opelika tenants show that healthy amounts of money did flow into the temple's coffers. The records for what Gaines described in sworn testimony as the temple's only bank account show that the group received increasing amounts of money between 86 and 89. They said the temple spent $200,000 to $250,000 a month, but the account balance was rarely flush at the end of the month. The highest it ever reached was $131,000 in April of '89. A year ago, the balance stood at just $27,292. Mm-hmm. So they're talking about massive debts and trying to make ends meet, basically, trying to feed all these people, and I don't know. What's going on here. So a lot of people are still defending them, saying, look, they put a little money in and now this place doesn't have drug dealers anymore at this hotel or whatever. And that's their only argument is, but they've kicked out worse people.
Yeah. And
at least
that's
the worst.
You still can't do that to people that didn't do anything.
And at least the worst people, were pretty much, a drug dealer's a drug dealer. Mm-hmm. At least they're saying what they are. They're not saying they're wonderful people who are helping the children. You know what I'm saying? At least they're just drug dealers. I'd rather know what I'm dealing with than have some crazy horseshit liar tell him he's God.
Vast majority of drug dealers are not really finding kids to sell to anyway.
No, they're terrible customers. They have no money.
They have no money. Yeah, they don't have a job.
What the fuck? They're terrible customers. No, awful customers.
Right. Why
Someone
give them
find it, get them in trouble.
Yeah,
no.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Nobody wants kids. So 5 Yahwehs deny guilt in court. So the hearing is delayed for a 6th defendant. 5 of them plead not guilty to charges of the racketeering scheme. So that's what we're going on here. They didn't do anything, which Yeah, to be expected that they would plead not guilty. Yahweh follower, a suspect in 4-year-old rape and murder. Let's hope not of a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
A rape that is 4 years old.
That headline sucks.
That's a rough headline, yeah. One of the Yahwehs named in the federal racketeering indictment unsealed as a suspect in the rape and murder, there we go, of a San Francisco woman whose body was found in the MacArthur Causeway in 1986. The murder was not among the 14 listed in the massive indictment.
Oh, so there may be 15.
Now you can add 15 to it. A key federal witness, Carl Douglas Perry, 33, whose sect name is Aher Israel, talked about the murder of Elizabeth Schwark. The indictment linked Perry to 4 murders and identified him as the member of the sect's brotherhood required to kill a white devil to bring back a severed body part as proof. So this is a 4-year-old murder, they're saying. Investigators said Robert Rozier here, who confessed to 4 murders, said Perry told him he had raped and killed a woman, then left her body in a field near Interstate 395. Records from the Dade Medical Examiner's Office led investigators to Schwark, whose skeletal remains were discovered August 28, 1986, by nursery workers clearing a Florida Power and Light-owned field between Northeast 1st Avenue and 1st Court. Schwark's body had laid in the field for as long as 4 months, hidden in the weeds growing 5 feet tall. She wore a bright green sweatshirt over a sundress. A University of Miami botanist set the length of time that the body had gone undiscovered by checking the growth of wild white morning glories and Spanish needles, but the detectives still had no idea who Schwark was. Mm-hmm. They had 1 usable fingerprint and hundreds of scraps of paper to go on. They said that Schwark's right thumb was preserved because it was jammed down in the dirt around her, so it didn't rot or it wasn't eaten.
Oh, wow.
That gave police a print, but it didn't match any prints on record, unfortunately. She wasn't in trouble ever. Police also collected every scrap of paper in the field and traced every name found on it, found on any of the litter. Still nothing until detectives decided to try San Francisco. They said the Bezirk sweatshirt Schwark wore had the initials SF on the front. Guessing they might stand for San Francisco, Miami police called cops there. Good police work. A detective in San Francisco checked all the names collected by the Miami police. One name was Elizabeth Schwark, reported as missing. The fingerprint confirmed the body was hers.
Wow.
They did the checkup there. Police learned the 46-year-old woman had left her family to, quote, find herself. She worked for a while as a waitress in New Orleans before coming to Miami. Find herself. Police aren't sure when she arrived in Miami. The sweatshirt and the botanist's opinion led them to guess she died on a cool night around spring break. Okay. November 21st, 1990, magistrate denies bond to 2 in the sect. Well, good. Jesus Christ. We should definitely not be giving these people bond. Shouldn't be just getting out, wandering around willy-nilly.
There's murders and rapes.
Yeah. Well, their lawyers said this is ridiculous. Quote, not a single weapon of any kind was found on a Yahweh member, never a weapon extracted from the Yahweh property. So this is ridiculous here. He put on his character witnesses for Yahweh, including his parents, Hewlon and Pearl Mitchell of Enid, Oklahoma. Doesn't sound like old Pearl and Hewlon would have a cult leader son, does it?
I don't know. If there's ever a couple in this country who may have given birth in a manger, it's somewhere
Pearl
in Enid,
Hewlon.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's Enid. Oh, man, that's fucking funny. So Carl Douglas Perry, the guy who allegedly killed that woman here, pleads not guilty. And that's how it goes here. November 27th, 1990, judge rules sect member is not a threat, but bail delayed for Yahweh disciple. So they're saying someone's not a threat, basically, and Carl Douglas Perry is denied bail, said he could not deny bail, even though he's up for murder charges, based on the allegations of a convicted killer, Robert Rozier. They're saying Robert Rozier is the one saying he did it, so we can't keep him on no bail based on that.
Really?
That's interesting.
Because a murderer or a guy up for murder said that?
A convicted murderer was the one who told us this. So,
okay.
Yeah, they said there's no physical evidence to link Perry to the slayings, just the accusations of Rozier, who's convicted in participating in 3 of 4 murders he's accusing Perry of. Yeah. The lawyer said, "This is every man's nightmare. The weight of the evidence I would submit is weak." It's weak. So let him out. Let him out, man. November 28th, 1990. Here we're talking about Robert Louis Beasley, whose sect name is Dan Israel. He went with Dan. Really? You could change your name to anything you want, Israel, and you said, Dan. I like Dan. It's a good name. I thought about Eugene for a minute. I thought about I had that one. I always heard that one. Is it my grandfather's name?
One guy went with Israel, for Christ's sake.
That's hilarious.
Dan.
Dan. I don't know. When I was a kid, there was a guy named Dan. He seemed like a cool guy. When he is
that
Dan.
A Middle Eastern word meaning something else? Is pronounced a different way? Is it Dan?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Robert Louis Beasley Jr. Nothing to do with Dan. He's like, Dan.
I've always loved the name Dan.
Just wanted to always be a Dan. My parents didn't name me right, so that's that.
Even Cher's name is at least her name.
Yeah, just Dan Israel. It's a hilarious name. So Dan Israel here is accused of being one of the two hooded gunmen who ambushed two dissident Yahwehs in 1981 after the pair had gone to the police. That was Mildred Banks and Carlton Carey. Gave statements to homicide detectives after the beheading of their roommate, Aston Green, another Yahweh defector. Yeah. So Banks and Carey were attacked by the gunman. Carey was shot to death, and Banks survived. Remember, the wife survived. That was great. The woman survived. November 29th, 1990, more bail denied for people. December 2nd, murderer, ex-member, is key to Yahweh case. Robert Rozier, here he is, everybody.
He's the linchpin, babe.
He's everything. He's the only one willing to say, those motherfuckers killed people. Here's how they did it, and I did it with them. He's the only guy willing to say that.
I'm in trouble for it, and they're not going to fucking speak up for me, matter of fact, they're going to go worse. They're going to throw me out the fucking cult.
They're excommunicated. They crossed me out of the book.
Yeah.
I got crossed out. Fuck that. So they said in dozens of meetings with police, a convicted murderer told of unimaginable horrors, stabbings, shootings, beheadings gone wrong, even a spur-of-the-moment public execution, all of it done, he said, in the name of religion. And investigators believed him, even believing he hadn't pulled the trigger in one of the slayings as they had originally charged. Now, 2.5 years after the debriefings began, federal prosecutors have heavily relied on the accounts of Robert Rozier to help craft a massive 14-murder conspiracy indictment against 16 members of the Yahweh Nation and Yahweh himself. That's growing. While the feds say they have hundreds of other witnesses, Rozier will be the star witness for most of the allegations. He's only 35 right now, by the way.
Wow.
This motherfucker could still be in the NFL. Instead, he is fucking... We haven't mentioned football in a month.
3 weeks.
and this guy is in prison for years. This is crazy. He could still be in the NFL. Wow. Depending on whether a jury believes him, Rozier will be the government's best hope or worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could really tear his ass apart on a cross-examination if he doesn't play it perfectly. The attorney for Judith Israel said Robert Rozier is singing a song in order to avoid a life sentence or a death sentence. Another attorney for a different member said, quote, he's the biggest liar. He's
Robert
huge.
Rozier
He's humongous. He's the biggest guy we have, so that makes him the biggest liar.
He's 6'4".
He played on the defensive line, everybody. He's big. He's the biggest liar. I dare say the man would lie on his mother, much less Yahweh ben Yahweh, his friends and associates. He's been able to elude old Sparky 4 times. So he didn't get a death sentence. So that means that, obviously he must be lying. Rozier is in an undisclosed, out-of-state federal prison with a new identity thanks to the Witness Protection Plan. He's not getting special treatment, government officials say. He's doing the same time, just anonymously.
Yeah.
Rozier's attorney said he found his client to be truthful, saying that it would be naive to think the government would base a 25-page racketeering indictment solely on the accusations of one convicted felon. That's probably not there. They said the 2 beheadings listed in the indictment occurred before Rozier was even a member of the sect. He was still on the fucking Raiders, I think, at that point.
Right.
He was like kiting checks in Canada at that point. Yahweh followers passed out pamphlets in defense of Rozier and claimed witnesses would absolve him. They said the wicked seek to destroy the followers of Yahweh. Then after 7 months in jail, Rozier told Yahweh he wanted another attorney, and so they then called him a black devil and excommunicated him. Wow. Okay.
All because he just wants an attorney.
Yeah, which, by the way, I posted on social media when I posted this episode last week, a shot of Yahweh ben Yahweh with a big fat marker crossing someone out of the book. Like it was, I don't know if it was Robert at the time, but he was crossing someone out of the book with a fat
Somebody's
Sharpie.
Out. Yeah.
Yep. 8 months later, that's when he agreed to turn on them and, all of that shit. Rozier is now state's witness.
Oh, boy.
So they asked the prosecutor, have you ever caught Mr. Rozier in a lie? That's asking one of the investigators, and he said, no, I haven't. They said, have you tried? He said, yes, I have. We're trying to trip him up. He's not lying. He just tells the truth. This investigator said he spent maybe 100 hours with Robert Rozier.
100 hours with him and never caught him in a lie once.
No. Citing this testimony, the magistrate declared Little John a threat to the community. That's one of the other guys that are trying to get bail.
We got a Little John?
Little John is the last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not his Little John. Before he was a rapper. I don't know if anybody knows this. He was big into the Yahweh sect.
Or one of Robin Hood's merry men.
Yeah. In other unrelated Florida news, on the newspaper page, man takes shortcut, discovers a corpse. Well, that's Florida, everybody.
Oh, go the long way.
That's Florida. Never take a shortcut. And if you see it, it's not anything good. Trust me.
The shortcut is through a swamp. Where do you think they put the bodies?
And anything you see, it's not something of value. It's nothing you could use. It's going to be either garbage or corpses. That's what
all the money's
see.
In Miami on the beach. It's not through the swamp.
Nope. A badly decomposed body, believed to be that of a woman, was found Saturday afternoon in some brush 50, yards. They said 50 years west of South Dixie Highway.
Yes.
That's in the newspaper. Wow, that's a bad typo. A man taking a shortcut home spotted the body at about 4:45 p.m. They said the body is believed to be a black woman. The corpse had on a light-colored shirt and green short pants. 2 blue cloth slippers were found nearby, so I guess hanging out there. December 3rd, 1990, U.S. investigates financial deals by Yahweh cult. Oh. Now we're getting into the fight. See, yeah, you might be able to say that guy's a liar.
Yeah,
he wasn't here when this murder happened or something like that. But all the financial shit, they just follow the paperwork. Yeah. I mean, it's not really based on witnesses at that point.
Yeah, if you're doing murders, you're definitely doing financial crimes.
Oh yeah. They said that the investigation encompasses allegations by former Yahweh members who said that they saw drug dealers deliver bags of cash to Yulon Mitchell, their Yahweh, at the Sex Liberty City headquarters. The sworn allegations by Robert Rozier, a star witness in the murder indictments, first came to light during a civil trial last year. Rozier, obviously serving the time, the individual Yahweh members who he described as very well-known drug dealers were involved in the trade with Mitchell's blessing. So bring in cash and do what you want, essentially, like a lot of mob bosses did. I mean, you weren't supposed to sell drugs, but a lot of them were like, that guy's allowed to sell drugs as long as he brings
cash you bring, the more I'll overlook some things.
Absolutely. So Mitchell ordered the traffickers protection in return for large donations. It's basically, you come in, I'll keep the cops away from you, and you hook me up. Basically, I'm going to be the mob boss of the neighborhood. That's all it is. It's the same way the mafia did that, too.
It's just paying your tribute up. That's it.
Yeah. The only thing he's doing, he's missing out on the distributor thing because the mob would supply the people with the drugs, too. So they'd make the money on the wholesale, too. And then they would, and then on the backside. He understood the type of business that they were in. He also encouraged them to give tithes and donations in order to protect them from arrest.
Okay.
They say that he's a liar, obviously. The defense attorney says, I know nothing of that, and there are no formal charges filed. My client is prepared to face any charges if formally filed.
Right. If you bring him, we'll face him.
He says, I believe Robert Rozier is, as usual, out in La La Land. It doesn't seem to me that it has a hill of beans of truth to it. That's a weird, what a strange way to put that. A hill of beans of truth.
I think it's
he mixed
that doesn't matter to a hill of beans.
A hill of beans.
Right. Yeah.
It amounts to nothing. They said it doesn't seem to have a hill of beans of truth to it. Okay. If the government knew about it and didn't include it in the indictments, they have acted thoroughly irresponsibly. It isn't charged because it isn't true. There's no evidence along the lines of overt drug dealing. And what do drug people need to pay religious people protection for? Because you have the mayor's ear. That's why. There's a day of him, obviously. They said they would consider filing a libel lawsuit against him. The Miami Herald, if it published an article mentioning Rozier's allegations, they'll file one against them. They said it's unfair. I don't think it ought to be a story. You're being had. It's a foolish story. If the government's your source, they are poisoning the well. Okay. Whatever. Robert Rozier is now just going to be, he's a witness from here on out, basically. Mm-hmm. And, Rozier talked about one time here where a man was killed, Michael, M-I-K-A-E-L, I guess that's Michael or Mikhail, Israel. Israel was born Maurice Woodside, was among the sect members indicted, linked to one murder and an attempted murder. His attorney didn't reach, Rozier said Mikhail got out of the car with a bag, a pillowcase it looked like, and he stopped and showed it to me and opened it up for me, and from what I could see, there was several $1,000s as cash. And he said, this is from Tim and his lieutenants, a donation for Yahweh ben Yahweh. I escorted him inside with the money. At the time, Yahweh was having a meeting with some of the elders, and he presented the money to Yahweh ben Yahweh and showed the money to the other elders and made comments on it like, I understand what these brothers have to do in order to learn a living, but if they give these donations and tithes to Yahweh, Yahweh will protect them and make sure they don't get arrested, and they will continuously be prosperous.
What a great guy.
What a magnanimous fuck he is, huh? Not bad. So they said no seizures of any of their properties are planned at this time because that's a whole separate thing here because they say it's hard to trace the finances and all that we know. Okay, now December 4th, 1990, again, sect may have taken drug money. So the Herald is not concerned about being sued over this. They're like, no, there's a lot of people saying that shit.
Yeah, they're just throwing the accusations out. They don't care about what anyone says.
December 16th, 1990, Yahweh suspects in more slayings. Broader investigation reaches out of state. Yeah, these are just the people in Miami, basically. Yeah. Not even like Jacksonville or fucking Tallahassee or something. Right. Never mind other cities. So in other states, investigators suspect Yahweh followers may have killed several more Miamians than the 14 victims listed in the massive murder conspiracy indictment of the sect. In addition, detectives are investigating at least 2 out-of-state murders and are searching for 2 potential witnesses who have disappeared.
Oh.
In numerous debriefings, former Yahweh disciple Robert Rozier has told them all sorts of shit here. Investigators think Rozier is telling the truth, and so far police have not caught him in a lie as he described details in other murders that only someone familiar with the killings would know. So they said, we're looking at other cases, but it's still under investigation. They said because it's an ongoing investigation, we can't make charges about it, but they think there's more victims, and it's, not great, obviously. So they're looking for all of this shit. Well, a lot of people. Police identified him as a drug abuser who lived on the streets. Another person they killed. Okay, so there's a few people here that they're looking at that are people that no one claimed his body and shit like that. So they think that a lot of they might have been killing homeless people too and stuff, just whoever. Which
horrifying.
Yeah, which if you're wanting to be in the little clique that kills people and you have to kill someone and bring back a fucking body part. I assume you'd go, well, a homeless person will be the least missed and the least chance of me getting in trouble for. Probably
the first person you're going to attack too, right?
I would assume so. Yeah, that's because in society they look at that person doesn't matter. No one's going to fucking come looking for that person. They don't not like they're not going to show up for work tomorrow and people are going to be on a frantic, Yeah,
if they don't show up at the soup kitchen, they figure they hopped a freighter into the next town.
Yeah, it's the same reason serial killers go after prostitutes. They think that they're less missed and more, flighty and more willing to
less
take
reliable.
Off. Yeah, if it's some church lady with 3 kids who fucking has 2 jobs, someone's going to notice her gone quick, and you're in trouble.
Call about her.
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. So they talk about these other things. The Miami homicide detective Mike Osborne said police were never able to find a suspect for one of their murders. They said Osborne said no one suspected a Yahweh connection until Sergeant Remley asked for the records. He said they looked into it, but I don't know to what conclusion. He added the Miami homicide detectives didn't suspect that these two murders, Fowler and Dorr are their names, were Yahweh-related murders. He said that came as a surprise. These two murders here that they're talking about are, where is this here? Okay, yeah. Here is one, a 70-year-old stabbed in the back 6 times.
Jesus.
At least twice in the neck, collapsed on the roadside of a trailer park. Mm-hmm. Described by Metro Police as a, quote, derelict. That's how you want to be described. Jesus. They said Barnett had lived at the trailer park until the trailer burned down. Then he'd been sleeping under existing structures. Oh, my God. His trailer burned down, so he just started sleeping under other people's trailers. Jesus Christ. Witnesses last saw him alive the night before, wearing gray pants and a green shirt and drinking from a half-gallon bottle of vodka. That'll make you sleep under someone's trailer, a half-gallon bottle.
That's called a sleeping pill, James.
Yeah, that'll allow you. That'll allow you to sleep under a trailer.
Yeah.
He was heard moaning and muttering about 1 a.m. He weighed 120 pounds and was 5 foot 7 inches tall. His body was found 6 days before Yahweh ben Yahweh allegedly ordered the deaths of Glendale Fowler and Kurt Dorr, who were found stabbed to death in Coconut Grove apartment. The actual killer isn't charged in the indictment, but Rozier, by his own confession, is linked to the double homicide. 2 months later, at about 5:30 a.m. on June 6, 86, the passerby found Carlos Alonso, 54, bleeding in the doorway of a building at Northeast 1st Avenue and 6th Street. He'd been sleeping. A black man was seen running away from the area. Alfonso also had several stab wounds to his neck and shoulders, and he died at the hospital.
Yeah.
Police identified him as a drug abuser who lived on the streets. He was also 5 foot 7, 129 pounds. Wow. Came to Miami in 1980 during the boat lift. That whole mess. No one claimed his body. He was buried at the county expense, like we said. Right. So the body of a third potential victim was not listed in the indictment, was found at Pier Number 3 on the morning of August 31st, 86, when a boat owner found Luis Larena, 41, floating face down at the base of the pier. He'd been stabbed 11 times in the upper torso and twice in the right arm and appeared to have been dead for days.
Jesus.
His blue jean pockets were empty except for the 35 cents and a white handkerchief. Poof. His only identification.
35 cents?
35 cents.
And a bandana.
And a snot rag.
Yeah.
Wow. That's rough. His only identification was a tattoo depicting a casket with flowers across and the date 10/6/59.
Okay.
Wow. Police later identified him by fingerprints. 5 days later, Yahweh allegedly ordered the death of a white devil, and that's when Carl Douglas Perry, Aher Israel, that's when they killed another homeless man, Lyle Austin Bellinger. Rozier said Perry told him he'd killed a white man wearing a Star of David T-shirt using a 2 to 3 foot long samurai sword.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Interesting. And they did find a man, they did find the body near the floodgate of the Little River Canal wearing a Star of David T-shirt and suffering deep wounds indicating the use of a sword. Jesus Christ, this is wild. Also,
what a terrible way to die.
That is fucking horrific. There's one is a 6-year-old unsolved stabbing of Newark, New Jersey of a vagrant, same street as a Yahweh temple. So basically, wherever there's a bunch of people with crazy wounds being found murdered.
Yeah.
Which is fucking wild. December 24th, 1990, Yahweh sect lobbied politicians. This is the fucking, the Yahweh religious sect tried hard to develop political influence, reportedly clumsily, with offers of cash-filled shoeboxes, and its successes are likely to come up in the Yahweh trial. They went at it like Stringer Bell.
Cash-filled pro wings. Get the fuck out of here.
Crazy. They tried to The Wire, basically, show up with that shit.
Hand a shoebox over.
I do suspect that it's something that I would put on the table, said the attorney here, representing the sex leader. It's natural that when you're looking for character witnesses for your client, you look to those who knew him. The defense can point to a City of Miami proclamation that declared it Yahweh ben Yahweh Day.
Right.
Federal investigators have subpoenaed a Yahweh videotape that shows that he had prominent videos. The Miami Herald reported in Sunday's edition that the tape includes the Miami mayor, State Senator Carrie Meek, state reps James Burke and Jefferson Reeves, and Representative-elect Darrell Reeves, Metro-Dade commissioners Charles Dussault, Larry Hawkins, Arthur Thiel, and Harvey Reuven, a former commissioner Barbara Carey, we've heard her name, and city commissioners Miriam Alonzo and Victor Dior. They said the video pointed out how he involved himself in dealing with people of substance in the community. It's a boost for the organization, is what the lawyer said. So it also shows he was trying to bribe people, basically.
Right. That's not good.
A woman identified as they're talking about a banker who ran for mayor in 1985, Raul Masvidal, said that he went to the Yahweh temple at the sex invitation, and he said a woman identified as Judith Israel offered him a box of cash, and he said he got very scared, fearing he was being set up. He's like, oh, I've heard all about this. He said, we immediately said we can't accept cash, and she said, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know that. She then gave Masvidal a $500 check, he said, but he had returned it after studying the Yahweh pamphlets that advocate for the elimination of white people. Maybe I shouldn't take this check. Wow. July 9th, 1991, cooperative sect member freed on bond. Michael Mathis walked out of the North Dade Detention Center afternoon on a $500,000 bond, while 15 others remain behind bars. They said the judge said they agreed to free Mathis during a special hearing that was closed to the public. They said the government and defense convinced Judge Roediger that Michael is no longer a danger to the community and he is a person who should be released. All he wants to do is get back to his family and get a job. Mathis, a former all-star linebacker at South Miami High who dropped out of the sect 2 years ago, is the lone Yahweh defendant not accused of murder or conspiring to murder. Mathis, known by Oshalam Israel, is charged with participating in the fire bombing. But apparently he's been cooperative with investigators, so they let him out on bail.
Okay. That's not good for him, right? Shouldn't he be watching his back?
I would hope that someone's going to be watching his fucking back. A Yahweh sect sent a gift this week to every criminal and federal judge in Miami, a handsome leather-bound book titled From Poverty to Riches, The Works of Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Nice.
Literally, that's crazy. Every federal judge in Miami with people who he's going to deal with.
Make real money.
Well, what it is attempting to propagandize the people who are going to be, that's wild. You can't do that. The 230-page book contains the jailed religious leader's preachings of love and his most flattering press clippings. The book was Yahweh's latest package of persuasion shipped to Dade's 22 full-time criminal judges and 12 district judges federally. Never mind that Yahweh ben Yahweh is not facing criminal charges in Dade County. He'll be tried in Fort Lauderdale federal court for allegedly masterminding 14 murders and terrorizing other people. Wow. The Nation of Yahweh has mailed judges pamphlets, letters, and brochures about the injustice of their leader's arrest and prosecution at a rate of 2 to 3 mailings a week. That's a lot.
Does he think that that judges are going to see that and go, I need to take a closer look at this, and it's going to work out well for them?
Other than what happens when you keep getting the same menu from the same fucking Chinese place 3 goddamn times in a week on your door? I'm never eating at this fucking Chinese place. Yeah, I'm not eating your shit. Your beef and broccoli can suck my ass. I'm not doing it. So that's just annoying. It's just spam after a while. Leave me alone. So a representative at the Yahweh's Temple of Love refused to talk about the book and referred calls to Yahweh's lawyer, Alcee Hastings, who asked, what's the big deal?
What's the problem?
It's trying to, curry influence here. What's the difference? He said, I don't find it inappropriate. No Dade County judges hearing this case. And they don't know each other, none of the judges or anything like that. They won't talk.
They don't chitter chatter, I'm sure.
No. Hastings said he didn't know the Yahwehs had mailed the book to Dade judges and also said he had no idea how much the book, which is sold publicly, had cost the Yahwehs to publish. Dade County Circuit judges discovered the book, including a full-page color picture of Yahweh inside a manila envelope delivered Tuesday and Wednesday. The one judge said, I thought it was more motions. Like lawyers put motions in a manila envelope. He said, I scanned it, but I didn't read it. It's not a cheap item. It's slick. And he also said, if they think they can intimidate anybody in the Dade judicial system, man, have they got another thing coming, is what another judge said. In the book's introduction, an uncredited author writes, though Yahweh's works are amazing, if after reading this book you're only amazed, then you missed half the book. The amazing effect Yahweh ben Yahweh has had upon the world cannot be confined to a book.
No?
No, even though every religion kind of...
It's kind of the book, right? That's the
defines
point.
everything in the book. Yeah. You got to put everything you want in that book. Yeah. That's all you got. You can't go, here's our book, there's more, but we'll get to that later. That doesn't work. You got to stuff it all in there.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. They said, I believe that back then, all the information I was getting was that he was a significant force for economic development. Okay, so they're talking about something else there. That's fucking funny. They're trying to do that. And it's hilarious. From poverty to riches, the spiritual works of Yahweh ben Yahweh. It's a fucking funny book, man. So January 29th, 1991. Here it is, everybody. We'll end it here. Yahweh ben Yahweh takes the stand.
He's going to talk about it.
It is fucking amazing.
Does he show up in robes?
I think he's probably, if it's a trial with a jury, he should be in his street clothes, which would be robes for him.
Yeah, right.
He describes himself as a man of peace, blah, 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 blah. So he testified at a hearing before U.S. District Judge Norman C. Roediger and said, I've been taught from a child, thou shalt not kill. That's always been a part of my life. He's trying to get bail.
Yeah.
And they're saying you're not going to get bail, basically. And in one sermon, they're talking about a pair of Yahweh's 1986 tape-recorded sermons in which he apparently advocated violence. They show that. In one sermon, he recited a Bible verse, Luke 19:27, where Jesus tells his disciples a parable about a man who became king over the objections of his enemies. And he said, but as for those enemies of mine who did not want me for their king, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence.
Good.
As Yahweh recited the verse, he spoke about a killing he would like to witness. He said, quote, I would want to see your head come off personally. I want to see the blood seep from your veins, the jugular vein. Right. I can't wait to see that. What a pleasure. All of my enemies killed with the sword. Boy, that's great. You can live forever if you accept me as Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Wow.
Boy, that's great.
Boy, that's great.
That sounds like somebody else.
I want to hear him say it with the context. The context is king, babe. That's awesome.
That's him giving a speech to his followers.
I want to see it seep from the veins. The jugular. Yeah,
the jugular. Yeah, I want that. People.
Boy, that'd be great.
That is fucking funny, man. The slain men that they're talking about now, Andrew Brown and Rudolph Broussard, quote, this is... Yeah, they said that the two slain men had both used four-letter words in reference to Yahweh in the news media, and this occurred the day before their deaths. Yahweh said in the taped sermon, they showed them right on television cursing the name of God of the universe, the God Almighty, and says in his holy word that blasphemers of his holy name are to be killed and stoned and killed by the children of Israel. That's the law of God. And I want to say it, that whoever killed them, they did a righteous thing for Yahweh in killing a blasphemer. Within hours, the blasphemers were dead. That's what he told these people. So I didn't plan it, but I'm pretty happy it happened. Sorry, that's not.
The thing is, though, like, if you don't believe in a specific any religion, and it in there says to stone a non-believer to death. What are we talking about? You can't do that.
No. Well, that's why religion's horseshit. As soon as you read that
in your book, you got to go, well, obviously, this is dumb.
Well, they're going to go, but in this page, it says turn the other cheek. So,
right.
Yeah, but you're still signing off on that, though, of stoning people for working on Sunday. You know what I mean? That's what you're talking about. So that's why I think why I hate fucking religion. It's asinine.
It's all just so, and it's fucking, it's obsolete.
If I go to join a club and it has 5 tenants and I look at them and I don't agree with one of them, I'm not joining the club.
Right.
I don't agree with all this, so I'm not joining this shit.
Right.
There's a million things. You agree with everything it says in all these stupid, ancient, fucking dumb shit books? Really?
It's just obsolete, and it didn't.
It's ridiculous.
It didn't evolve with society.
No.
At the society's pace. So when society outpaces religion, how do people not? I don't know. How do you
I don't
not
get it
see
either.
that?
I don't get it. It's fine. I get it when people don't know where the sun goes at night. I get looking for some answers somewhere. I don't know what happens in the day. Where do the stars go? That's whatever. But we're past that, like you said. It's
so far.
It's so far
It's
past.
so far. It's not like.
Well, then they also said that the other ridiculous part is, and this is what religion uses a lot, is said that it's not meant to be taken literally. It's only a metaphor. It's an allegory.
What's the metaphor being?
He's talking about 2 specific people that were murdered after they did things that he didn't like. There's no metaphor and there's no allegory.
No.
At all. It's ridiculous.
You took it seriously.
And then that's the other thing, too. When it's convenient, it's a metaphor and an allegory. But then when they want to say it, then it's literal. And there's, a lot of these churches are literal, biblical. The earth is 5,000 years old and all whatever horse shit. But then it's allegory.
That boat would be so big.
So big. Have you ever seen a fucking elephant? Give me a break.
And they had 2 of them.
2. Fucking 2. Ever heard elephants fuck? Talk about loud neighbors.
Too.
Yeah, they're tall.
Hippopotamus?
Just put them up top. Yeah, that's what I mean. There are all these giant rhinoceros. There's giant animals out there.
How'd you do that?
What about all the fish? You got all the fish in tanks?
It's a lot of tanks, Noah.
You ever have a salt tank? It's a lot, man. You got to keep the pH levels going. There's no way to do it. It's just not possible.
And it was rough seas.
All sorts of shit going on.
You told me a Pomeranian wasn't thrown into the tiger tank?
Oh, well, Pomeranians aren't of natural. They're not of God. We invented those at some point.
Tell me a prairie dog wasn't tossed over the fucking
if there was a
exhibit?
God, if there was a God, that's when he abandoned us. When he saw the Pomeranian, he was like, "That's it. They've gone too far. This is a fucking abomination. What are they doing to my creatures?" And that was the end of it.
They made a tiny lion out of a dog.
They made a ridiculous little creature. They're shaving it in weird ways. I won't have it. I'm done.
It's a
Fuck
tiny
these
lion.
people.
It's not even a cat.
Let the floods come. Let them come and wash them from their stupidity. I can't take it anymore.
No more boats.
Oh, man. So anyway, the lawyer goes on to say that his client's been cruelly treated. He's not guilty of anything. So they're goddamn. They're the victims if you look at it. I mean, it's really their fault. They're just victims. These poor people. So they said personal details about Yahweh also emerged. Born in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, trained troops for the U.S. Air Force for 4 years, then dropped out of law school after 1 year, has 4 children, but couldn't recall the names of name of one of his daughters.
Only 4?
4 kids, and he forgot the fourth
one of them.
Name.
Forgot 25% of his kids.
He has 26 grandchildren, but not asked to name any of them. Jesus Christ. He could probably name 2-3 of them tops if he can't get his own kids, even more than that. During the cross-examination, Yahweh apparently tried to give a lesson in the differences between the Bible's literal and symbolic meanings. He said, have you preached to your followers, now is the time to get a sword, to sharpen your sword, and to come with the sword. And he said, of course, that's scripture. That's Yahweh. The book of Hebrews teaches the two-edged sword is the scriptural sword of God, and that it's sharper than any two-edged sword. It cuts going and coming. It even detects and reveals the mind of people, whether they're good or bad. It's the word of God.
Oh, the sword does.
Imagine you're sitting in a federal court and you've law school and all this, and you're sitting on it and you got to listen to this bullshit.
The sword is the word of God.
It's the word of God. That's how you at least put it out there. And he said, and when you taught that those who blaspheme Yahweh must die, this is an allegory too. And he says, this is not allegory. I can quote you at least 10 scriptures where those are the words or similar words, and I have never spoken a word outside of that. I only quote the scriptures, and that's what the Bible says. Okay. That's true, I'm sure. So anyway, we will leave it at there. Yahweh is going to trial.
Holy.
Robert Rozier is going to be the star witness, which is going to be amazing. Think about that, how cool that's going to fucking be. Him on the goddamn stand. So that's going to be a wild time, him up there spouting out what he's got. And he's real pissed off, too. So it's going to be fun cross-examinations. I can't wait. And he's not scared of much, this Robert Rozier. He's a pretty ballsy guy. So we'll get into that and more. Definitely do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Before that, also, whatever app you're on, give us 5 stars. That helps a lot. Listen to our other 2 shows, Your Stupid Opinions and Small Town Murder, which you can also watch on Netflix if you want to do that. So check that out. Check out shutupandgivememurder.com and get your tickets for live shows. We have Milwaukee on September 18th, Minneapolis September 19th, and then we go to Dallas, San Jose, Sacramento, Terrytown, and Boston. Right. So get all your tickets right now, and all sorts of cool new merch up too. So that's shutupandgivememurder.com is where you do all of that. You also could follow us on social media at Crime and Sports. And most importantly, though, damn it, you should get Patreon. Yeah. And this is for your own good. Look, I mean, we would like you to get Patreon, and that's a business thing that we have, but it's also a really good deal. It's smoking. And if we like it, we want you to get a good deal. It's $5 a month or above. We put out a lot of shit. You're going to get a whole bunch of stuff here. So as soon as you subscribe, you're going to get hundreds of back bonus episodes. It's a whole other feed, almost 400 of them, as a matter of fact. A lot. And then you get new ones every other week as well. 1 Crime and Sports, 1 Small Town Murder, and you get them all, everybody. And that's not even it. We have more to add to that. But for that, specifically this week, which you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we are going to talk about hostage situations. I almost said something. I almost said something completely different. Oh my God!
Hostages
I almost said
and cinnamon.
Hostage sections is what I was going to hostage sections. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why am I going to say that? And then it was keep coming. I'm like, no, stop saying sections. It's not hostage sections. What are I fucking talking about?
Don't do it.
Hey, stupid. It's something else.
Say it.
Hostage situations. It's after that, the Stockholm episode. I am just fascinated by that. Yeah. Then for Small Town Murder, it is going to be a awesome show. It is Corey Richins Part 3. All the shit her kids said happened that night completely contradicts everything that she said. She sat and watched dude die. She's gross. And then on top of that, she gives this awful allocution where it's like she writes it in a letter to her kids. It's gross, man. No. It's wild. Can't wait for you guys to hear that and all the thoughts about what a terrible mother she was and how she tried to make him eat uncooked lasagna. It's amazing. Can't wait. Oh, yeah. Wait till you hear it. It's going to be crazy. Patreon.com.
Crunchy? Or frozen?
Okay, we'll get into it.
Get there.
Patreon, that's crunchy too. Crunchy or crunchy, either way. Patreon.com/crime in sports, just like the name of the show. And in addition to that, you also get every show we put out, all ad-free as well.
Boy, howdy.
Everything we have, all ad-free. And you get a shout-out, which is right now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever kill us and then try to hide behind a biblical scripture as an excuse to do so. Hit me with them right fucking now.
This week's executive producer, Gary Howard. He's in Jacksonville, Florida. And Happy Hours in Splendora, Texas. Look at the two of you crisscrossing the South and missing
back
each
and
other.
Forth.
Yeah. Paper Magic Trader also. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're amazing. You're the best. Thank you.
Shit, yeah.
Other producers this week, Winnie Gruncy Fartsy. I don't know what that means, but happy birthday, Winnie.
She farts when she grunts.
She pushes hard.
Or the other way around.
Heidi Griffin, Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Janice Hill, Melissa Madgett, Jonathan Phipps, and Bill McClellan in Scotland. It's been a minute since we heard from him.
Thank
he
you.
had a kid like 35 years ago when we first started this. Good
Yeah,
for
really.
You, Bill. Your kid's
the
old
kid just
enough
graduated
to
law
vote
school.
Stacy Winder, Ashley Clausen, Percival with no last name, Cora Jean Jazik or Jazik, Renee Madsen, Marsden, that's it. Sarah Warner, Zoe with no last name, Carrie Thompson, Frank, Janice, Sidoris Troff, perhaps laugh is that's how it's spelled. Trau.
Okay.
Alyssa Kirchberg. I am Massholio, Dex Machine, Joshua Kubizny, Ann Mitchell, Tina with no last name, Nick Rigel, Rigel, Dustin Stewart, Ann Penner, Sky with no last name, Calissa Oberhelman. Calissa, that's a too tough name. All right, Amanda Kelly, Alana McKeague, Matt with no last name, Sean Benoit, or Benoit. I don't know.
Benoit.
Bethany Duvall, Trevor Golden, Law of Leaves, Jonah Gurman, or German, or Herman. Good for you, Jonah.
Either one.
Jessica Ramsey, Becky Crosby, Kathy with no last name, Keith Law, Danny Kaiser, Gloria Torres, Jessica Freeman, Dave Wilton, Olga Bergowski, Rachel Dawn, Dana Nelder, Jennifer Vonida, Katie, it's Katie probably with 2 T's like Mean Girls. Wilson, Stinky with no last name. Renee Wapsock, Pawini.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Pawini. Renee, I'm blowing it. Amanda Ross, Jamie Headland, Leah Goforth, Mudrun, Ashley with no last name, Steve Osborne, Stephanie with no last name, Tattle Turtle, Mariska Summers, Sophie M, Emily Hayes, Victoria Brooke, Kenny with no last name, Megan 2.0, Whitney Connor, Amanda W, Stacy Lawson, Frank Norenbrock, Candace Bishop, Stephanie Sloan, Bridget Grimm, David Mendoza, Jen Myers, Kristen Henson, Stephanie with no last name, Janelle Bassett, Legume Wolf, those are beans, Rachel Montgomery, Cedar Rupp, Rupp, it's Cedar, it's spelled Cedar.
Cedar.
Ebony or Ebone, Gregory, it's probably
Ebone.
Ebony, right?
What's up, bruh? Ebone.
John with no last name, Trisha Downs, Jen Jones. Oh, how about that? Jennifer Jones, Jenny Jones, Jay Stroh, Ben Womack, Veronica with no last name, Diana Hart, Commissioner Red, KT, the letters K and T, Candace Lejeune, Steph, like the camp.
Yeah, like the camp with the cancer water. That's not good.
Steph Martin, man. Caitlin Simpson, Carrie Tangi, Spensani. Spenson? What is that? Spensane? Mike Coit, like us.
Our prices are Spensane, everybody.
Joe with no last name, Sally Bodle, Don Honnebach, Erica with no last name, Don Cedrone, Larry Hurd, that's so easy, Stephen Kramer, that's gross, Kathy Klein, Lindsay Batman, I think it is Batman, not Bateman, Paige Christian, like Bale, who also played Batman. Cassidy Smith, T. Potty, BB340, Caleb Daniels. Nope, that's Daniels. Alexa Davis, Chrissy with no last name, Kayla with no last name, Dave Broughton, because it has been Broughton. Derek Lee, Jonathan Dummer, really? Mary Cezilczek,
Yeah.
Cezilczek. Okay. Christopher Walchley, Tracy. That's not Rebecca. Tracy Lahaki. That's why. Cynthia Fry. Javon Apolliner. Apolliner. Joseph Killen, M.H. Laurie, John S., Krista Day, Kathy with no last name, Michelle Viata, Matt with no last name, Jennifer with no last name, Shalay Emmert, Doris Rogers, Kayla Marquardt, Cherie Chance, Hannah with no last name, Megan Bazzoni, Melania, nope, that's Melanie, no, that is Melania, Straheel, Jenna Grundle, what?
Oh, very nice.
That's not good. Slip TV, Drummer Guy, Heather Glorizio, Sarah Anderson, Brandy Williams, Maxandra, Miles Plagerman, Rachel Claudel, April Mercedes, Ida Morris, Laura with no last name, Cheryl Norquay, Alex the Great, and then all of our patrons that do this for us. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much. You fantastic, wonderful bastards. God damn it, do we appreciate all that you do for us. Just thank you for everything.
Amazing.
And thanks for hanging with us. And we hope that we are giving you the stuff that you want to hear. And judging by the fact that you keep hanging around, I think maybe we do in Patreon. So thank you for doing that. If you want to follow us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com is the way to find all the links to everything. So do that. Keep coming back and seeing us. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Yeah, bye.